You yesterday afternoon, I had a pretty good day. I'm just going to tell you, I had a quite an interesting afternoon yesterday that I will spill on you over the next several hours.
Here or outside of
Both. I came in this morning. There were burritos in the house. It's just, you know how it's going to be a good day when you walk in, somebody says, oh, hey, a couple extra burritos here this morning. Do you want one? Well, yeah, I do want one.
Well, did somebody offer you, or you just saw them in the kitchen and you said
I didn't even know they were there. Jorge hooked me up.
Oh, hey, no, Jorge, yeah, he's got your back.
Hey, Trav, look, there's a couple extras. You want one of these? Yeah, I do. And it was great. And I had a little salsa with it. It was a great way to start the day after having a great afternoon. A little bit of a Laker low point in the evening, watching the game on TV last night. But all in all, pretty good few hours for you guys.
Give me some details here. So kind of talk me through.
Let me just give you a little teaser, and then I'll kind of drop some other things along the way.
Save it for crosstalk.
No, that's it didn't work out quite the way. I got to tell you, that was well done because I missed it at first. I caught it. Like on the second beat of it, I caught it. But so here's what it was. Went to lunch yesterday with Jason Roberts.
Yep.
And Kirk Kartosian, Tequila Mandala, right? And we went and had lunch at Gaucho Grill in Bueno Park. Delicious. I'll tell you more about the spread because I hadn't eaten until this morning again. That's how much food we ate in lunch yesterday. It was incredible.
So far your stories have revolved around lunch yesterday.
Yes.
And breakfast today.
Correct.
Yes.
What,
I see where you're going here.
Yeah. And I haven't told you the best part yet.
I see what makes you happy.
This wasn't a mystery. This is what we know. Kirk says to me yesterday, he goes, do you like old fashions? I said, well, as a matter of fact, I do. And he goes, okay, let me make a recommendation. And so they made us a smoked old fashioned with tequila Mandala 2-year añejo tequila instead of bourbon. They bring it in a box. I'm going to show you a video here in a second. They bring it in a box filled, the glass box you can see in the box, right? So it's beautiful. It's filled with smoke. They open this door, and the smoke comes pouring out. And then you take your glass out, and the glass still has a little smoke floating at the top of the drink.
Yeah,
and you take a sip, and it's this
amazing,
wonderfully smoky, delicious, unbelievable smoked tequila old-fashioned. You tell me how I'm supposed to have a bad day from that point on.
Yeah, game over. It doesn't matter what happens after that.
If you do that at 2:30 on a Wednesday, that's a really good day.
You already won.
It's terrific.
All right, talk to me about the food.
Yeah, I'm gonna dole it out a little bit because quite frankly, do you want me to start with the first steak we had, the second one, or the third one? Do you want me to talk about the salad side, the vegetable side, or do you want me to talk about the four different type of empanadas that I had yesterday? Would you like me to talk about the chocolate bread pudding with vanilla ice cream that I had for dessert?
All right, this is what I need you to do. I need you to hurry up, make that partnership happen. Do what you got to do.
It's amazing.
Do what you got to do. Then you could take your boy out there, and then you can maybe get some gift certificates, give it out to some of our people.
It was
awesome.
Terrific.
Cool.
That's how I started my afternoon. And then I literally, you know my deal, right?
Yeah.
I go home, and Susan's like, I told her, look, I'm out for dinner tonight. You guys do whatever you want. I'm good. Didn't eat until this morning, and then it's like the gods are smiling upon me. They're saying, we're sorry about the Dodgers. Here's a breakfast burrito.
I have follow-up questions. I'm somebody from, let's say, The Athletic interviewing Dave Roberts. You just gave your full story, right? You just gave your full story.
Yeah.
Did you really not eat anything last night?
I had 2 chocolate chip cookies before I went to bed. That's what I had. So it wasn't nothing, but it wasn't much.
Standard.
Yeah.
But I love that didn't count.
It doesn't count.
I love that.
Okay, let me rephrase.
I
didn't have another meal. I had, and by the way, 2 chocolate chip cookies. That basically doesn't count.
If you ate around 2:30, 3 o'clock,
that's
a long time before you go to bed. Maybe not that long for you. What are you in bed by? 10:30?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's almost scary that I know the exact time. I know everything.
I'm not super. Once you figure out my deal, it's pretty predictable.
It doesn't change very often. Okay, so 10:30. So you're talking about I'm going to give you the benefit. I'm going to say 7 hours without eating. Okay. Yeah, that's why I was kind of curious. Let's be honest here.
And honest to goodness,
just be honest with me. Did Andrew Friedman tell you what to do in the 6th inning?
It was a moment because
he might have said something.
Bobby and Michael, they go Michael gets home from baseball practice. It's 8:30, and he's like, Bobby, let's go get some dessert. So they go to McDonald's, right, to get McFlurries or whatever they get, and they're like, you want anything? I'm like, believe it or not, no. Like I was so good. Yeah,
you okay?
Everything okay. But I had my
hell
chocolate
happened?
chip cookies before bed. It was terrific. It was a wonderful, wonderful day.
It's a good day right
Way
there.
to start the day. How about you?
Oh, it's just amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah, it started at
Did you have a smoked tequila
5:30.
old-fashioned?
Let's see, yesterday, 7 o'clock tip. Yeah, it started about 5:30. Where you can really start just kind of taking everything in, you know? Just take everything in. And then before you know it, we're close to tip-off. It's just me, Funches, and Wilbert here.
And Wilbur.
Wilbert.
Oh, Wilbert.
Yeah, Wilbert.
I don't know Wilbert.
Wilbert does a lot of the Laker games, runs the board for us during the Laker games.
I'll have to meet him.
And then, the game starts, and you're just kind of taking it all in, consuming it, right?
That's one way to do it.
Lakers go down 10 in the second quarter, but damn it, they come right back.
Tied it up at the half.
13-3 run before the first half is done.
Sure.
Tied at 54.
Uh-huh.
Third quarter starts.
Not as good.
Third quarter starts.
Not as good.
Third quarter ends.
Uh-huh.
Down 15.
Yep.
Fourth quarter is kind of just a matter of time before you start putting all the stats together, and then ESPN Stats and Info wants to throw out. I mean, are they?
They're rubbing it in on you.
Yeah, they are ready. They are ready after a Laker game to come up with some of these stats. So I didn't have as good of a evening as you did.
Yeah.
So
Well, my evening was fine. I mean, I watched the Laker game and had.
Now you had a pretty good, solid.
I had an unbelievable afternoon
18
and a
hours
really
span.
good start to my day. Yeah, it was a good deal. We got a Laker game coming up tomorrow. We got a Rams game coming up on Sunday afternoon against the Niners. There's a lot of good things going on right now, Al.
Yeah, Niners are they're feeling good. They're trying to get back on their feet.
Trying
to get back on their feet.
It is exactly the right team for them at the right time.
But
Every
how
time,
funny is that?
Every time the Rams,
Super Bowl champs, and you're like, oh, we just don't want to face them.
that's the weirdest thing in the world. They beat them like a drum every single time, except for in the NFC Championship game. Which, look, if this is the price, if it means that you're going to take it on the chin for
that's fine in the
twice
regular
a season
Yeah,
for the next 10 years, but when you play in the playoffs, you got a chance. Okay, okay, I'll take that.
They
now.
would sign up for that.
I think everybody would. I don't think there's a team that wouldn't do it. So Russ did not play yesterday. Hamstring. They're saying that he may come off the bench tomorrow night against Minnesota. Is that right?
Stephen A. had said that he's hearing.
They mentioned
he
it during
would
the
come
broadcast
off,
last night too.
that he would come off the bench. So I'd love to see that, and I think it's obviously apparent. It's not like there's one issue with the Lakers and you just move this and all of a sudden everything is solved. But yeah, it looks like he probably would come off the bench.
It was weird because look, we all watch these games, we make predictions, we think that we know what we're looking at, and sometimes you get it mostly right, sometimes you get it super wrong. But this was one of those things that I felt like I was almost exactly right. That team looked exactly like it looked without him. I think with and without Russell Westbrook, it's a remarkably similar team. It's a more brand name team with him because you know what Russell looks like, he plays, like all of the things. It's like it's Russell Westbrook, he's a brand name, but the results were shockingly similar. Their percentages were shockingly similar collectively as a team. The problems that they had through the first three games were exactly the same problems that they had last night against Denver. They did not shoot well. Anthony Davis was kind of nowhere in the fourth quarter. He didn't get to the foul line. He got one foul shot the entire night. That if LeBron's not getting it done, really nobody's getting it done. And LeBron's kind of peaks and valleys right now where he'll get hot.
8 turnovers for Bron yesterday.
Yeah, and he, by the way, he wasn't great last night. But when he gets it going, at least they take that 15-point lead, turn it into a 7-point lead. They take a 15-point lead, cut it down to 10. But if it's not him, it's just simply not happening.
If I'm trying to be, let me try to be optimistic for a second. Okay, if I'd have told you that the Lakers through the first 4 games are 1-3, you don't know anything. You haven't seen a game yet this year. You just looked at the schedule and it said you got the Golden State Warriors, you got the Clippers, you got the Blazers, you got the Denver Nuggets. If I'd have told you they'd be 1-3 through the first 4 games, does that sound about right?
Yeah.
For me, I would. That's how I would look at it. I would look at
that. That is an optimistic way to look at it because that implies that you're just losing to better teams. It's not. It leaves out the context of they are the worst 3-point shooting team ever. Not just that they're not good at it, but that they're historically bad at it.
I'll finish with my optimistic view for a quick second here. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised that they're 1-3. I would say, okay, the only game they probably got was against the Blazers. And if you want to put Denver and you want to put the Clippers and if you want to put the Golden State Warriors, wherever you want to put them, I would say all 3 of those teams are probably most likely going to be top 4 in the Western Conference. So I'm not surprised they lost yesterday. I'm not surprised that they lost against the Clippers, and I'm also not surprised they lost against the Warriors. The Portland game is what really bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with the Lakers is even when you start facing competition that's more to your level, right? Portland should be at their level. Once you start facing competition that's closer to your level, it's not going to come tomorrow because Minnesota is better than them. It's not going to come against Denver. Maybe they can win because the game's at home, and that's just what happens. It's not going to come against the Pelicans because I think the Pelicans are better than them. However, Zion and B.I. could be out.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. So really what you're really looking at, I guess you could say on a night-in, night-out basis is there's a very, very good chance that the team you're playing against is just better than you, period. There's just personnel, they're better. Their role players are better. Their shooting is better. What you just said about the 22% three-point shooting, it's going to change because just naturally it has to.
Yes.
It can't be this bad.
Right.
But how much better will it get? So you're going to depend on Lonnie Walker or Austin Reeves or Patrick Beverley. None of these guys are snipers. None of these guys are really consistent shooters. Anytime AD takes an outside jumper, if you're on the defensive side, you're saying to yourself, well, that sounds good. As long as AD's not anywhere near the paint, we'll take our chances. So I say that trying to start optimistic with my conversation, but as I continue to go, I don't know how much is going to change. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, it will change for the better, but instead of being, you corrected me this morning, JB Long, the voice of the Rams, is here recording something. I went up and kind of overheard you guys talk, and I said, oh, you're talking about the Lakers shooting 21%. You're like, it's 22.
22 point.
My bad.
20,
I apologize.
22.3.
It's 22 point.
You know why I know that?
I have a feeling you probably mentioned it a time or two last night.
No, because I feel like ESPN Stats and Info texts me, hey, Al, they're 22.3% from the three-point line.
Yes.
So just so you know.
So I don't think that they will shoot 22.3% for the season. I think that they will probably find their air quote normal range somewhere around 30-ish, right?
If it's 32%, that's the worst in the NBA last year.
Right, 32. So by the way, I'd be really surprised if they can get to 32%, seeing what we're seeing. It will be better. But it also it brings up a million other questions that we can get into next. Namely, what's up with AD? Because he's fine. He's appears to be healthy-ish. We saw him grab his back a couple of times last night, but this is the same thing that we've talked about with him over and over and over again. This really unbelievably gifted player who just kind of disappears for long periods of time and has very little impact on the game, despite being, other than Jokic, the best big man on the floor last night, and he certainly didn't look like it for long stretches. Why not? What can change? Can it change? All that's coming up in just a little bit. Don't forget the Rams postgame show live from Hollywood Park Casino. We will be broadcasting live from inside the Rays Lounge. It's right across from SoFi Stadium. Just walk on down and come and check it out with us. Thank you to our partner Teza. Come by and check out Teza and pick up some free samples, or visit TezaEnergy.com and make your mouth happy. Use code ESPNLA25 for 25% off your first purchase. So how much of this is on AD? That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
I didn't Yep.
I keep saying, you got to download an app. I'm like, no, it's a picture. I just
Yeah.
want to send it to the next person.
No, you just go to google.com
No.
and type in Travis photos, and it comes up. Travis videos, and it comes up.
Very. How good did that look?
Awesome.
Yeah. You should have one of those. We should go get one day. I'll buy.
Just tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me when.
It's
I'm ready.
the Buena Park Gaucho
I think
Grill.
we're due for one of those.
Yeah.
You and I are due for one.
I
of
want
those.
to now. You know what I want? So my birthday's coming up here in a little bit less than a month.
Okay.
I would like one of those glass boxes. I want to bring my lunch to work in it. I want to bring just everything I get. Just
I want my
Coke
coffee
on a Sunday
I
afternoon.
want my coffee served that way, and I want it to be steaming hot like that.
It was a good way to do it. It was a great way to do it. Anthony Davis last night in the fourth quarter took 2 shots.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Davis in the whole game took 1 free throw.
How many shots did he take against Portland in the fourth? It was something like that. Too.
I
It
can
was
tell you
1 or
exact-
2 shots.
It was 1. He took 2 last night. He took
Yeah.
1 against Portland. He took 3 against the Clippers, and against Golden State, he also made all 3. He was 3 for 3.
This is all in the fourth.
These is all fourth quarter numbers. I just don't get it, and I know I'm going to back up here a little bit.
Yeah.
I was listening to Bill Simmons' podcast this morning, and he had Charles Barkley as a guest, and they were talking about Embiid, okay? And Barkley was going on and on about how he was telling Embiid, it's like, dude, every time you take a jumper or a 3, the defense is won.
It's a winning possession.
Whether it goes in or not, they don't care. Their nightmare is you in the paint near the hoop. There is no answer for that. And I think the same thing is more or less true with AD, only AD's not shooting a bunch of jumpers. He's just not shooting. And him near the hoop, while he's not the player he was a few years ago, while there are possessions where he looks like he's 150 years old, there are still possessions where he looks like Anthony Davis, 29-year-old all-star. Yeah. And it's just little spurts and flashes, and it's so deeply frustrating. They're going to lose that game last night because they can't shoot. They were going to lose. Denver's better. Jokic played really well, et cetera, et cetera. But the fact that he's not even involved in those possessions in the fourth quarter, it's so deeply discouraging. Because if it were just he and LeBron, if they just did like a 2-man game, and unless someone else is wide open, LeBron and AD take every shot. Feel better about this than him just kind of floating around and getting 1 shot and 2 shots in the fourth quarters?
Okay, so a couple things here. Number one, I'm going to go after some of the role players for the Lakers for a quick second. All right? Kendrick Nunn, I'm going to tie this back to Anthony Davis. Kendrick Nunn, I thought, hey, this dude's going to be a real threat for the Lakers. It's early in the season. He only played 4 games. Kendrick Nunn, 4 of 12 yesterday. Okay? Lonnie Walker's been the only player for the Lakers so far that you could look at and say, hey, that dude can get you some buckets. He's aggressive, gets to the basket. Nobody else. Patrick Beverley, go look at his shooting percentage in these 4 games for the Lakers. Go look at Kendrick Nunn's shooting percentage for the Lakers. Go look at any of these guys that the Lakers have, and one thing that's not being established, they don't have role players that on a consistent basis can show up. Only 4 games in, Trav, but in those 4 games, that's all I could kind of talk about. So that's what I've noticed so far. AD and Bron are not going to get, at least it doesn't seem like it, other than Lonnie Walker, consistent help. Hey, I got a guy here that can probably get us 12 and 15, and this guy's a threat. He comes off the bench, does what he does. Everything you just said about Anthony Davis, you're not wrong. Not surprised. I'm just not. I don't. There was a point where Anthony Davis used to frustrate me. There was a point that I would grab a microphone 2 years ago and say, AD's going to take over. This is going to be AD's team.
Yeah.
AD's going to be competing for the MVP. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't have that conversation anymore.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
So what you just said about the fourth quarter, he took 1 or 2 shots in these last couple, 3 shots.
2 last night, 1 against Portland.
So 3 shots in the fourth quarter of these last 2 games.
Yeah.
If I have to waste my energy talking about Anthony Davis not being more aggressive in the fourth quarter, when Anthony Davis has, on a more times than not, consistent basis, when he's healthy, yes, he looks pretty good. But he doesn't look like any of those other top 3, top 4 big men in the NBA. He just doesn't.
He doesn't move right anymore, Al. They're like what was that? LeBron threw the long. It's the end of the half, right?
Yeah.
The bucket to tie it at the end of the half, where LeBron throws the 3-quarter court right on the money. It's like Tom Brady, right? Just perfect. Drops it in the bucket. AD catches it as he's going up, lays it in real. It's like, dude, that was amazing. And then he's walking like he's 150 years old the next possession at the start. It's like, which one of these guys are you? It's so bizarre where he's decrepit and broken down and stiff and moving, holding his back and wincing.
And that's coming from that Clippers game where he fell directly on his freaking back.
But again, it's like, dude, if you're hurt, don't play. But if you're going to play, let's play. And he's wincing, he's hurt. And then he goes up and they do a lob, and it's perfect. He got a dunk in traffic. It's like, which of these two guys are you? Which one?
So it's disappointing to say this, but it's honestly how I feel. I've lowered my expectations for AD. That's what's happened. What's happened is he's given me enough examples over the last couple of years to not garner him in a conversation. You know what you're looking for? Who's the guy that you just mentioned? You mentioned Embiid, right? Lakers yesterday playing Jokic.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you're talking about he was supposed to be in that conversation.
Did you see
not
Giannis
in that
last night?
conversation.
Did you see the highlights of Giannis
Against Brooklyn?
Yes.
I didn't see, but he had 40 plus, whatever he
44, I think. And
Just-
he's had 87 points in his last 2 games. He looks like he's you know
Can
what
I
he
give
looks
you an
like?
example?
Fast, explosive, athletic,
Can I give you an
aggressive,
example?
mean, leader. Like all of those things that you would hope to see from your best player.
He's one of the guys that you don't say he's the best. He's arguably the best player
Sure.
in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how we're saying that there's different levels, and I started my optimistic conversation that they played 3 teams that could probably be 1, 2, 3 in the Western Conference, hypothetically.
Theoretically.
Okay. And that I wasn't expecting them to win those 3 games. The AD piece of it, when you bring it up and you talk about Anthony Davis, I just don't expect what I've sold myself enough and been disappointed that I'm going to stop selling myself on AD is going to be this type of player.
Yeah.
I think what you got yesterday and what you got out of the game against the Clippers and when you got out of the games against Portland, that's Anthony Davis, Trav.
I
That's
don't
AD.
disagree. I'm with you, and I'm really glad to hear you say that because I think we agree on that. So if that's true, if you and I are both right, that this is just what it is, there's going to be some times where it feels really good, but more often than not, you're going to want a little more and you're not going to get it, right? If that's the reality of what it is, LeBron's in year 20.
Yep.
You don't have another player on that team that makes you really excited about what you have. It's not like, hey, this looks like it might. It's just, it is what it is. You were talking about the role players and how more, kind of across the board, underwhelming. You don't have a ton of draft picks moving forward.
Okay.
What do you have? You got 78 games left this season. You've got a very expensive player with $47 million coming his way that doesn't appear to be a part of what you're going to do move forward. You have an aging superstar who, when he's good, is still very, very good, but cannot do it for 38 minutes a night. He needs help.
He needs others.
He needs shooters specifically, which you don't have. The person that put this team together put it together with no shooters. It's the same guy, presumably, that's going to put it together next time to try to rebuild it. Anthony Davis is not an appreciating asset. He's a depreciating asset. What do you have? What do you get? What is the goal for the remainder of this season?
That's the key question.
What do you do next? Because LeBron, look, when he had moments last night where like, I can't believe that I'm seeing what I'm seeing, but he also had 8 turnovers. He cannot do it with this group of guys. What do you have? What is the goal? What's the plan moving forward? Because even if everything goes back, Al, to what we would have thought,
the average,
perfect. This is still the 9th best team in the West, 10th. It just isn't a particularly dangerous team. What do you have?
If I ask you, what do you think the goal is, kind of knowing what you know early on? I don't think it's going to be, it's bad right now. I think their shooting will improve. Okay, we'll see if that eventually adds up to some W's. If I told you right now, based off the team that you have, what is the goal this year? I think I know what the goal is. I think the goal for the Lakers is going to be make it to the play-in tournament and then take your chances from there. I'm not telling you that that's a good goal, but I think that is the goal. Right now, if you sit here, if you don't trade Russ, and this could be a separate conversation, at what point, if you know how there was Woj had hey, I don't think a trade's going to go down until after Thanksgiving, December 1st. By the way, there's a whole group of players that are not available until December 15th because they just signed a new contract. They can't be traded until December 15th.
Yep.
You might be looking at mid-December that the Lakers potentially make a trade. What's their record by then?
I was just going to say, where are you at that point in the calendar? You could have a 7 or 8 win team at that point.
Because if you're at if you end up reaching a point where, let me just give you an example. They're 20 games in. And let's say they're 6-14.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just throwing out a
By
number.
the way, that's not an unrealistic prediction.
Okay, 7-13, whatever that number is. Okay,
Significantly under 500.
You're under 500. Do you start saying to yourself, okay, if we go make a trade now with Russ and we go get 2 guys and then we lose those 2 draft picks, hypothetically, are we better off just saying, why don't we just wait for Russ's contract to expire, not make a move this year, wait till next offseason where you have $30+ million in cap space to go try to sign somebody, and then you still have 3 picks? They might reach a point that by the time Woj's saying, hey, they're not going to be able to do anything till Thanksgiving that's when more teams are going to start looking to trade. They might reach a point where their questions are already answered for them by the time they get to that point.
I think that's very, very likely. We got a lot of people that want to weigh in on this. Let me remind you, you're going to want to listen all day today during our show. You're going to have 2 chances for you to win tickets to the LAFC Western Conference Final Fan Box, which includes exclusive Reppin' the Scarf City, an LAFC hat, LAFC mini soccer ball, LAFC playoff shirt, LAFC wristband stickers, lanyards, notebook, pen, and lapel pin. It's a pretty cool box, Lee. A lot of LAFC swag. Listen to the LAFC game. They're taking on Austin FC Western Conference Final. That's on 11:10 a.m. in the ESPNLA app. Coverage starts this Sunday at 11:30 a.m. So, what is the goal, Laker fans? 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776. That's next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPNLA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPNLA app.
Download the new ESPNLA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
Sliwa.
Oh, but yeah, okay. Did you have the little tiger? Remember the tiger? The tigre?
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
I'm going to let you probably don't remember this. There used to be a thing on Monday Night Football called You Make the Call, where they would show a play in an NFL game, and then you had to be the referee and say, is it a pass interference or not? Or, I think it was IBM You Make the Call. You make the call. Did I go full Candace right there? This, according to Spencer G. Did Trav go full Candace mode talking about his birthday? Did I do that?
I think you went half Candace.
Al?
I say 60%.
60%. Okay, I don't like that trade.
More
Taylor,
than,
bail me out.
More than 50% because the fact that you brought it up.
Well, I want the box. I don't really care. It's my birthday. I just want somebody to give me the box.
I think you cared.
Yeah, it's
about
not,
the box.
It's not Morales level. I think you're good.
Well, no, I can't get to Morales level for birthday enthusiasm.
If
but
you want something for your birthday, you have to say you want it. So there's you gotta
look.
gotta
You can give it to me
Candace.
tomorrow. It's not my birthday tomorrow. I'll take it, and I won't even mention my birthday after that. Al, did you not see the door swing open and all that smoke come pouring out?
No, that was amazing.
Did you not see the dried orange wheel?
Mm-hmm.
The perfect little Luxardo maraschino
I don't
cherry?
wanna-
Did you not see the ice cube? This is no BS. The ice cube itself, right, has a gaucho embossed on the top of the cube.
Olay.
Olay indeed. Olay indeed.
I
We
don't
should
wanna
go
give,
get one. What
I
are you
don't
doing
wanna
this
give,
afternoon?
I don't want to give too much credit because there's jealousy inside of me right now. So
Be
I
happy
also
for your
want you to
friend.
feel a certain way, but I don't want you to feel too happy.
Oh, I feel you can't bring me down. It was one of the cocktail highlights of my life. We had a nice long conversation
How about
my
gaucho
martini
and
fetish.
you're a gaucho? How about
Yeah.
that connection right there?
They even broke it. Jason brought out an old picture of me when I was 75 pounds lighter. Made me feel good about myself. Like, hey, I used to look like a normal person. Look at that. That's pretty exciting.
So why you didn't go full Candace, though, is because you didn't list the date. You said it's coming up in less than a month, and so the date isn't out there, but we know the general vicinity of the date.
Here's what
He
it
told
is.
Taylor to get him
I
a
know the date,
birthday, the birthday thing down at
I want
Starbucks.
the
You know that little.
streamers. I want confetti and those little poppers.
I want the
that
cake pop. You wanted the cake pop. That's what you told Taylor.
If it were after my birthday and Christmas were the next thing, I just would have said Christmas. It has nothing to do with my birthday. I just want I just want the glass box.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta play defense.
I'll send you some Amazon links so you can order it for me.
You got a wish list on Amazon? Okay, going a little far there.
That's got to be a thing, right?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As
I
I
have
say,
it for
that's
my family
way
for
too good.
Christmas. We all have our own wish list on Amazon, so that when we order gifts, we're looking for something to get.
That's what a lot of Instagram models do, too. They just put a wish list up. And,
Yep.
Yep.
It's on the gram.
Well, me and Instagram models, we're like,
Lot in common.
I'm doing it to the camera. We're like
Lot
this.
in common.
By the way, speaking of, we're streaming on our YouTube channel today, ESPN Los Angeles on YouTube. So Carlos got a new toy. It's like this gyroscope thing that spins around.
Moves everywhere.
It's got a full 360. You can pan left,
Just
up,
has
right,
both
down,
on you.
all around.
I'm not even
no,
on
see,
anymore.
He's moving it on you. He put the fancy camera on you.
It's awesome.
Which there's two ways to look at that.
Yeah.
It's that you need all the help you can get,
Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
you're far more important. Therefore, they need to have more angles, more full representation of your
I'm
face.
sure all of that is going into play.
I
when
hope
they,
so.
when
I hope
do
they
the
just
stream.
didn't flip a coin. I hope they gave it a little bit of thought. This is important.
Slee's always moving around during the show. He's got his baseball bat. He's swinging it.
Yep.
Doing
Where's
stuff
the
like
baseball?
that.
He took the baseball.
Here,
out
you
of
want
the
an orange? I
studio.
got an orange.
It's
I
funny.
need it back because I want to eat it, but you can hold it in your hand if you want.
Is that thing ready?
It doesn't look very
Yeah,
orange
it
to
doesn't.
me.
Is that thing ready?
Look, let me ask you guys this.
I thought it was a lemon in the beginning.
It's an orange. Jorge, I believe this comes off of Jorge's personal stash, and Jorge's basically got an orchard in his backyard. He's got avocados
Amazing.
and
Awesome.
limes and
Yep.
oranges, so he brought in a little fruit this
Great.
morning.
I'll
Pretty.
bring pomegranates tomorrow. We have pomegranates in my backyard.
Are they ripe?
They look ripe. I haven't cut into one.
I have no idea how to tell if a pomegranate. It's just when the
It
seeds
looks
are
like
red
It
inside.
looks like a pomegranate you would
I
get
like
at
how
the
you
store.
asked the question. Are they ripe?
I don't know. I figured she's the one with the tree. I don't have a tree.
She's the
It's
expert.
just there.
There's
I don't own the
seasons,
property.
right? Like I think corn is Taylor.
What's up?
Corn is ripe in the late summer.
Corn it's getting ripe right now. Harvest is coming soon.
Yeah,
Harvest
late,
is coming.
late
Yeah,
summer.
knee high by the 4th of July.
Is that the rule?
That's the rule.
All right.
Emily planted the pomegranate tree when she moved
Yes.
in.
Waters it. I
As a
told you I'm
renter.
growing a lemon tree in my backyard, so I can't grow anything, right?
How's it surviving?
Dude. So I I like to make a lemon drop on occasion. I like to use a little fresh squeezed lemon juice. So get the lemons from the store, juice the lemons, and you got all the pulp and the seeds. Like, you know what I'm going to do? I just dug a hole in my backyard, threw all the pulp and seeds in there. Okay. There's a lemon tree growing out of that spot that's like 4 feet tall right now. It's awesome. Still no lemons, but it's my pride and joy.
Give it time.
I have no idea.
Give it another 15 years.
Give it time.
Does it take that long?
It takes a while.
Like 15 years? This is like 2 years ago.
I think
getting close.
I think it might be like a decade before you're able to eat
I'll
it.
be long dead by the time that happens. The world will be over before my lemons come into harvest. That's the way it's going to go. All right, let's go to Moreno Valley and TJ. TJ, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, TJ?
Yeah, I think Lakers are insane because the definition of insanity is doing the same stuff over and over, expecting different results, right?
Mm-hmm.
We came back 3 times or 4 times yesterday by shooting on the paint. Remember? Why do we keep shooting threes? We're not making the threes, but we kept shooting the threes.
Well, TJ, it's kind of funny because yesterday was the least amount of threes they've taken in a game.
Mm-hmm.
They've taken 45, they've taken 40, they've taken 33, and they took 30.
30?
I think 30 yesterday.
Still a lot.
Well, it's a lot when you're not a good three-point shooting team.
Right.
So every time you take a three, and if your percentage chance of hitting, they hit 26% of their threes yesterday.
1 out of 4.
If that's your percentage, then that's one less opportunity to go towards the basket. That's one less opportunity to shoot where you're shooting 45%, let's just say, from 2. And I know today's NBA, everybody is, well, you got to take threes. You don't have to take threes, especially if you're not a three-point shooting team. If you're not hitting threes, no, you do not have to take threes. That I never kind of understand. It's like, I don't know, in football, you know what, we just don't run the ball. Okay, so let's just keep running the ball. No, probably don't want to do that if the defense knows you're going to try to run and you're not a good running team.
Yes. Yeah, I could. Look, I get it. Well, the modern NBA, you take a lot of threes. Sure, I get it. The idea is to spread the floor, create passing lanes, shoot open threes. I get it. The Golden State Warriors have used that formula to win 4 titles in, 8 years, okay? That you got to shoot threes in the modern NBA to be successful. Okay, I'll meet you halfway on that. But if I can't make them, I don't need to take them.
Yeah.
I need to, at the end of the day, get ready for some high-level basketball insight.
Okay.
You need to score points.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you get them in 1s, 2s, or 3s, you need to score points. The Lakers' least likely option to score points is behind the line. You're going to score by attacking the rim. You're going to score by maybe getting to the foul line. Anthony Davis is a pretty good foul shooter, right? Let's get him to the foul line 8 or 10 times a game. He had 1 last night.
Yeah, well, he's got to be one that wants to get to the free throw line.
You're right, but my point is, again, this all comes together. It's not one thing, it's a lot of things. But if you keep taking threes, if Anthony Davis is not being aggressive, then this isn't coming on the coach to come up with a different philosophy, to get him more aggressive, to force him to be more aggressive, to take different types of shots. Because to TJ's point, just hoping that Kendrick Nunn or Patrick Beverly or Russell Westbrook get hot from out there, it's not going to happen. They're not great shooters.
Yeah, it's not a good game plan.
So let's do something different. He's right that we got to take – I like that they took fewer, but let's keep backing that off because the times that they made runs on Denver last night, end of the second quarter and beginning of the fourth, they were attacking the basket. They were getting easy baskets. They were getting lobs. They were getting dunks. They were getting putbacks. They didn't get hot for half a second from behind the line. They scored in the paint.
They're not good enough to fall behind. Let me just.
That's a great point.
Against the Warriors, they were down at one point 27. Against the Clippers, at one point they were down 16, came all the way back, and then down double digits again, came all the way back. Denver, they're down 18. They're not a good enough team to fall back. It's not like you got all these snipers on the floor that if you fall back 15, hey, they're going to come back.
Golden
they're not going to
State
come
can
back.
be down 15. It's basically tied, right? Because they get hot
Yeah.
and they knock a couple of those down. It's like, okay, now it's 6.
They don't have
it's
that
over.
luxury.
They don't have that luxury, and it does because here's the thing. They play hard. Like watching them last night, they didn't give up. There were very few times where you thought they had a chance to win, but they were just close enough to where you could either kind of let go of the rope or keep fighting. They kept fighting every single time. They never really gave up.
Got it down to 7.
I think that's a testament to Darvin Ham. I think that's a testament to the fact that it's only the 4th game of the season, too.
Sure.
But there isn't give up in these guys, but they have to do things differently. This plan and the construction of this team, and let's not say, okay, this goes back to Russell Westbrook to a point. Don't ask somebody to do something that they don't do well. That's a recipe for disaster, right? Don't ask a guy that doesn't shoot well to shoot a bunch of shots. Don't ask a guy that can't defend to become a lockdown defender. You need to know
play
what
to
you
their
guys
strengths.
do. Play to your strengths. Well, the strengths of this team are not shooting. The strengths of LeBron James historically are surround him with shooters. Rob Pelinka didn't give him anybody. And this is the same guy that's supposed to fix it. The short term seems bleak. The long term is kind of, I don't know what the hell happens next because their assets are minimal. The person that put all of this together is still the person that presumably is going to put it together moving forward. What is coming next?
I still think they'll make. They will
This
at some
season?
point make a trade. I think they will.
With those picks or just something around the edges? Because if you give away those picks to
I
get
think
marginally better.
Russ, and then I don't know what the market looks like in a couple of weeks. It's impossible to not have a pick or two lined up too.
Let's try East LA this time. And Mike, you're on with Travis Lee. What's up, Mike?
Yeah, hi. I want to talk about, well, first of all, a little bit of lemon tree advice.
Yes.
If you want to get your lemons early, absolutely flood water around the tree. So
Okay.
I mean, like, you should have water guilt because of the drought. Do it once, you'll see flowers pop off, and then you'll start getting a couple of lemons right away, like in a month.
Well, everything else in my yard's going to die because all of my disposable water is going to that tree. Sold. Done.
Correct. You could take a bath and just bucket it out if you want. You can do whatever you want, but it's going to need some more water.
A lot of soap in
Al,
there.
real
lot
quick,
of soap in there.
don't go anywhere, Mike. But if I said to you,
Yeah.
hey, Al, you want these lemons from my tree? I made them
I've
with
been
my
showering.
bath water.
Yeah.
you want those lemons? Go ahead, Mike. Sorry. Thank you for the advice.
Water, let's make lemonade. Yeah. So as far as the Russ thing, like, this is what I don't understand. Clearly his value is down, right? If they got the literal best situation possible, they eat all the cash, they get the best player in the trade humanly possible, how far do they even go? First round of the playoffs and get knocked out? So my question is, why wouldn't you trade him for picks? You know you're going to get a decent pick because you're going to suck. And then at least these last 2 years, 3, however many years LeBron lasts, you have young shooters, and you have one person as the floor general teaching a bunch of kids to play. I'll take the comments off.
Yeah, you got it, Mike.
So the pick, just so you know, if the Lakers have the worst record in the NBA, that pick goes to the Pelicans.
Yes.
So they have a pick swap in 2023. New Orleans will pick. If it's 8th and the Pelicans have the 23rd pick, then that means the Lakers have the 23rd pick and the Pelicans have the 8th pick. So they do not have control of that pick coming up this draft. I couldn't understand what he was saying. Was he talking about Westbrook or was he talking about AD? What was he saying there?
As far as the trade?
Yeah, the trade.
It sounded like Westbrook to me. But I think the question that he asked is the right question. It's the question that I've been asking. Even if you make the trade, for what exactly? What are we doing? Because we got to maximize LeBron. You got to maximize LeBron. You can't waste the last couple of years of LeBron James being an impact player. I agree with the sentiment.
Yeah.
But if you make what are you getting coming back? You getting role players? This team's not a role player or two away from being a threat. They're a role two away from being a play-in team. They're a role player or two away from being the 7th or 8th seed. But this team's not winning a championship.
You do agree with this, and I'm
so why trade what little you have? You do
agree with this.
Better.
You agree with this, and the whole you're not trading for a championship. I agree with you. Unless something happened that we're both looking at each other like, how the hell did they do that, right? Do you agree with this, that LeBron is not here? Impossible that LeBron signed an extension for a couple of years, and the idea and the concept, everybody together is, you know what, guys? We can't even compete. We can't even go up against some of these other teams.
I hear what you're saying, and no, I think you're right, but there is no, okay, let's do this, and now we're competing. There is no end result that ends with them competing. So the question becomes, do we go, and I'm just making up numbers here, do we go from the 10th best team in the West to the 7th best team in the West and dig our hole in the future even deeper because you can't just let it go by?
Yes.
Yes?
That is correct.
Really?
I think that will, I think there's a good chance that would happen.
Never mind that. What would you do?
I need to know what those players are. I need to know, do I have a shot in a 7-game set against some of these teams in the West, or do I have no shot at all?
You have a shot that would include an Anthony Davis that is God knows what. You have an aging LeBron James, and you have better role players. That's the shot you have.
If they're bad enough by the time you're at Thanksgiving and that it doesn't make sense, then I probably take that expiring contract of Russ, wait till the summer, give me the $31 million in free agency.
That makes more sense to
give me
me,
the
too.
2 picks that I have, plus the pick I got coming in 2023. Now I actually feel like I can walk away next summer with a legitimate player and some assets.
That's a better plan. That's a better plan than let's go from 10th to 8th and hope we get lucky in the playoffs. That's not a plan.
Ask me in a week, and I'm probably ready to go to 8th based on the standings and doing the postgame show.
You may be looking to go from 15th to 14th. The way that it's gone so far. Hey, did you see? Coming up next, it's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Rotolo Chevrolet. Been doing it since 1971. That's a long time. That's nearly 51 years of making sure. Hey, Rams fans, Travis Rogers here. You have got to get the new ESPNLA app. In fact, let's go down to the locker room and get a little help.
What's up, Rams fans? This is Matthew Stafford. React to the Rams on the new ESPNLA app.
This is Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. Listen to all your Rams talk on the ESPNLA app.
You are just one tap away from Rams All Access. Travis and Slee, Mason and Ireland, and Sedano and Cap. Download it now on the App Store or Google Play.
See? Did you see that?
I saw it. I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see? Oh, hey, Did you happen to see? It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this? Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
Real quick, did you see, Al, that what Kyrie Irving yelled at Ben Simmons in the middle of the game last night? Amazing.
Shoot the freaking ball.
Shoot the ball, Ben. Shoot it, Ben. Unreal. I clear as a bell. It's like he was doing the play-by-play.
Why does Carlo helping you with your phone make me walk out like he's a rocket engineer?
Hey, look, we got it done. Everybody's gonna
Shoot
get to
the
see
ball,
my
Ben.
Smoked old fashioned. I'm confused. Taylor, what do you got?
Okay, let's do this.
Shoot it.
Did you see that at its peak in the late 90s, Blockbuster owned over 9,000 video rental stores in the U.S., employed 84,000 people worldwide, and had 65 million registered customers? They were once valued as a $3 billion company, and in just 1 year, Blockbuster earned $800 million in late fees alone. Oof. So what is a failed store from your youth that you wish could make a comeback? Sliwa.
All right, let me think of some stories here. Circuit City, gone.
Do you miss it?
Is Fry's still gone? Is Fry's gone?
No, I've seen them around.
I think Fry's
there was
still
one
there.
in San Diego.
Yeah, Radio Shack.
That was the largest thing I've ever seen, and then it was gone. Yeah, it's gone. There was one
There's
near
one
Qualcomm.
off the 405 freeway in like Fountain Valley or
Might
something.
have taken it down with Qualcomm.
Soup Plantation.
It's Qualcomm went, Fry's went. Soup Plantation. I think they're San Diego based.
They're
too.
making a comeback, I think, in just one store in San Diego.
I used to like, and the only reason why I mentioned Fry's, the only reason why I mentioned like a Radio Shack, I just kind of liked those stores. You know, you kind of walk in, it was interesting. You had
aspirational too.
There was some.
You feel like Carlo in there, kind of.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But I'd take back one of those stores. That's only the Blockbuster was cool and all that stuff, but it's so much easier now. Just everything's streamed. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, the Blockbuster, I should say Circuit City, I always like going in there because it's like you'd see that giant TV, and it was back in the day, TVs were super. Now they're basically disposable. You buy one for a couple $100, it breaks, you go get another one. But you'd see these TVs $5,000, $8,000, and they were so like, one day I'm going to get one of those TVs. And you walk through there. I loved doing that. The other one, both as a kid and as a younger parent, I loved going to and taking my kids to Toys R Us. Yeah, and going through and look, because when you go to like Target or Walmart, they have a toy section, but it's a couple of aisles of stuff. But a whole store full of junk that you want as a kid or junk that you could buy your kids, nothing better than that.
So I really loved Movie Stop. So it's an equivalent of GameStop.
Oh, yeah.
So you can go in, you can trade movies. So when I first was able to drive on my own, I would go there almost every Thursday and Friday, and I became friends with the people that worked there, and I would chat them up, see what they wanted to see.
Oh no!
I would trade in my
Here
movies.
she comes again.
Anyway, all that stuff.
Here comes our friend.
Exactly.
She's back. What does she want this time?
But that was a place that I really liked, and I'm sad that it went away.
Taylor, I already know yours. Mervin's.
Mervin's. What is that? I don't even know what that is.
I think the Mervin's was a California thing.
What do they sell there?
It was
a
like
department store.
like TJ Maxx kind of.
Department store? Okay.
TJ Maxx.
I thought you were going to say Montgomery Ward.
Kohl's. Montgomery Ward. You know what else? I worked. I think Sears still exists, but barely. I love like going in there and they'd have that little candy
I like
store
Sears
in
a
the
lot,
middle.
too.
Sears was fun.
Mervin's.
That's
That
when
just
you know
sounds
you're-
funny to say. I haven't said that in so long.
When you're at Sears, you know you're in the bad part of the mall.
It's like the
I
bad
gotta
neighborhood
get outta
of
here.
the malls.
I gotta get
hey,
outta
listen,
here.
Where's the Macy's? I need to get back to safe territory.
Okay, next up. Did you see that on average, Americans define 41% of their coworkers as just that? Coworkers. They consider 22% strangers, 20% only at-work friends, 15% real friends, and 2% enemies. So, what do you think of people who just do their job and go home without speaking much to coworkers? Travis.
I'm okay with it. Honestly, as long as you're doing your job when you're here, beyond that, if we become friends, great. If we don't, I'm 100% fine with that. All I care about once we come in here is, did you do a good job? Can you help me do my job easier and better? Can you help all of us get to the point that we're needing to go? I don't need to go have a beer with you. If we do, wonderful. But if you just come in, knock it out, go home on your own program, you and I will get along famously.
No problem with it. No problem at all. I'm kind of similar here. Look, a lot of people, maybe they're working two jobs. Maybe they got something else going on. Maybe this is just literally I come here for my paycheck and I take off.
Maybe I've got enough friends.
It's okay.
No
it's
new
okay.
friends.
Yeah.
Like John, his phone is full. He's not going to add any more contacts.
That's right.
But it's okay to kind of be in a situation like that where they're just literally coworkers. Now, occasionally you'll have. Remember, Mace used to throw those before COVID. He'd throw that holiday party.
It's super fun.
And that'd be one of the few times where you feel like, oh, look, I get to actually get a chance to know somebody outside of the office. It's much different, but the world's not going to.
I got a quick one for you. So in that situation, not Mason's party specifically, but in that situation where you do socialize with somebody that you typically do not, do you typically walk away from that interaction? You know what? I like them, or no, I really hate that guy.
No,
because I think I'm the second one far more often.
I think I like that guy more.
Oh, not me.
You just know more about them. They got a
Right.
couple drinks in them.
Right. Exactly.
Who did you talk to?
The true funches.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But and also for me, it's like sometimes you can align with a company while not. To people I work with.
Got one more here. Did
All
you
right.
see that an Iranian hermit known as the world's dirtiest man has died at the age of 94? So this happened just months after he took his first shower in decades. What's the longest that you've gone without taking a shower, Sliwa?
2 days. You know, if you go camping, you're not taking a shower.
Yeah.
So 2 days is probably the longest I've gone. 2.5 days. The first thing you do when you get back is you're just waiting for a shower to come your way.
My guess would be up to maybe if it got into a third day, like when you're sick or something like that, you just can't move, you can't get off of your bed, out of the bed. But yeah, 2 feels like anything more than a couple of days.
Let's do December. December we don't shower.
No shower December? Why not? Let's knock it out. All right, listen up. Call in right now. If you are caller number 10 at 877-710-3776, 877-710-3776, your chance at an LAFC Western Conference Final fan box, which includes a Rep in the City scarf, an LAFC hat, mini soccer ball playoff shirt, wristband stickers, lanyards, notepad, pen, and lapel pin. Caller number 10, you win. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, stream live sports and original content with ESPN Plus today. You get access to the award-winning 30 for 30 library, unrivaled UFC access, including exclusive pay-per-views, live coverage of 35 PGA Tour events.
710 ESPN is giving you a chance to win $1 million.
$1 Million Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays. Listen every Monday during football season to Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, and Sedano and Cap. All you have to do is make a super prediction.
And you can win $1 million.
And you can score tickets to a game at SoFi for just playing on $1 Million Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
710 ESPN.
at ESPN.
Don't mind me, Slee. I'm just looking at my smoking glass box again. Carlos hooked me up. He's got me the right video, the correct Apple video that I know how to operate. Now I can send it.
Had to be transferred. Went through 3 laptops, 4 iPads, and back to your phone.
He comes in here. He goes, just push that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, Carlo.
You should have said, you push that.
Yeah, that's why I have you in here to help me push these things. I have no idea what I'm doing. If it's Apple to Apple, I'm your man. If it's not, I'm basically in the Stone Age. I got nothing.
Darbo wants Abercrombie and Fitch back.
Oh, that's a good one.
It still exists.
Does it?
Yeah.
Like as a brick and mortar store,
Yeah,
or
you
just
can go
online?
to Abercrombie and Fitch.
Like there's
It's just-
actual locations?
Yeah, I've been to Abercrombie recently.
Darbo.
Yeah.
It's there, bro.
Where, Emily? Where's the one that you've been to, so we can send him on a
Yeah,
on a-
why are you
on a
mad at
journey?
Darbo? I mean, just
I guess
Darbo didn't know they
recently
were
is bad.
around.
It was like over a year ago because it was when I was in Connecticut. So maybe
See,
it's just
now
not
this
in
is on
California
you.
anymore.
When your response was, ugh,
But
they
you can get
exist.
so mad at
Where
him.
is it?
It's online.
Connecticut.
He's
It's
a
online.
listener.
I mean, unless, but online is the point that we're making. It's we want to go
Okay.
into the store. You can't be mad at
Why
somebody.
are you mad at Travis
The
now?
nearest one was in Connecticut.
What about Aeropostale? Are they around?
I haven't seen Aeropostale.
This guy said Sears is gone, Fry's is on life support, could never afford Toys R Us. Bring back Discovery Zone. You remember Discovery
I
Zone?
don't.
Discovery Zone, wasn't that the it was
Are they in Connecticut?
like
It sounds like a
Everything's
a
there.
laser tag.
no, it wasn't laser tag, but it was definitely one of those like kids Dave and Buster's with kids, Chuck E. Cheese. I think it was like one
What's
of
it
those.
called?
Discovery Zone.
Don't
You
remember.
Discovery
No.
Zone?
No,
Did they have
I'm-
trampolines?
Oh
If
my
it's
gosh!
the one I'm thinking of.
First of all, there's a trampoline fun park on every corner in suburban America.
Yeah.
And you can break your arm at any one of them.
I was yes, it is. If you're looking for the quickest way to sprain your child's ankle or give him a concussion, this is the place for you.
Discovery Zone might be the place that I applied to twice and was denied.
Was this when you were in your
16.
What's the? I always forget the rec center that you worked at.
Kennedy Rec
Kennedy
Center.
Rec Center. Was you looking to upgrade to the Fun Zone?
No. This was once I got Kennedy
When I
Rec.
get promoted to the Discovery Fun Zone, look out! I'm on my way.
Once I got Kennedy Rec, there was no other job that I wanted. That was like the job that I wanted. But it was, I think I had applied to Discovery Zone, and my mom had a freaking daycare growing up. So I was using it as like, guys, I'm around kids all the time. Like, I think I'm going to be good with kids. And the guy basically told me, he's like, no, not interested. And I had a buddy that even worked there.
Was he a graduate from UCLA?
I don't know
That
what he
felt
was.
Very UCLA fan. No, bro, not interested.
And then it was Golden Corral.
The buffet?
No.
Yeah.
No.
It didn't work there. You know what happened? I think I told this story one
You
time.
got rejected from Golden Corral.
No.
Why?
No, I got the job at Golden
Oh, okay,
Corral.
good.
And then I told them, the guy just calls me randomly. I was waiting to see what happens with Kennedy Rec Center. I had also applied to Golden Corral, went in for an interview, blah, blah, blah. I killed it. I nailed it.
Couldn't say no.
So the guy calls me, and he kind of just called me randomly, and I was waiting to find out from Kennedy Rec. And he goes, hey, just want to let you know, we'd like to offer you the job.
What was the job?
I think I was just going to be
Chef?
a bus boy or something like that, just something along those lines.
Fill up the green beans.
Yeah, basically. And when he offers me the job, my response to him was, "Can I call you back?"
That's a
Because I was
power
going
move,
to call.
Slee. Power.
I was going to
move.
call the rec center, and now
Hey,
I'm
I
negotiating.
got this big offer from Golden
Now
Corral.
I'm
You're gonna have to meet
negotiating.
me. So I'd rather come your way, but I'm basically on the verge of running the local Golden Corral. So I'm gonna need you to up the benefit package. Can I get some stock in the Kennedy Rec Center? Can we do some sort of IPO?
So I don't know what you guys want to do, but I just say you have 50 minutes to make a decision.
That's terrific. I love that story.
So then, and nobody answered when I called Kennedy Rec, so then I called Golden Corral back, and the guy said, we'll now call you back. He double powered me.
He reverse power.
Reverse powered me. Ended up getting the job at Kennedy Rec. And I didn't have to work at the buffet.
You never want the dreaded reverse power.
Yeah, no, it was reverse. That GM there, I remember.
What happened to your job? I got reverse powered.
That GM thought he was running the Win in Vegas. Like, he thought he was the GM at the Win.
Okay, so that guy is either the best employee or the worst one. Like, if they're taking it seriously, like, hey, look, I'm going to treat this like I'm running the Win.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that guy's taking it seriously. That's good. Or it's like, dude, it's Golden Corral and El Cajon. Calm down.
Second one. It was definitely the second one. Because the way he was, even I remember interviewing for the job, it was as if I was working at freaking NASA. I'm like, you're going to have me grab a couple plates, rinse them off, and just keep the buffet line moving.
Does my training consist of anything more than, are you finished with that? Can I clear that for you?
It's like the combine where they're just grilling these guys with questions.
Great.
I said, I will call you back. And I called him back, and he said, no.
said,
I will call you back. I'm like, all right.
16? Is that what you said?
Yeah, 16.
Okay, so
I think I just turned 16.
Put yourself in the shoes of the Golden Corral manager. Okay, you're like, you got 20 guys applying
it
for
wasn't
this
a good
busboy
move. Yeah, it wasn't
job,
a good move. Yeah.
and you say, this Sliwa kid seems like a good bet. I'm gonna offer it to the Sliwa kid.
Yeah.
And you go and you dial in the number, and it's like, can I speak with Alan Sliwa, please? Yeah, speaking. So this is Tony from Golden Corral. I thought, you might want to get started. We'd like to offer you the job. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. A 16-year-old deflecting, looking for a better offer. That's
the balls
terrific.
on you.
They had a better 401k over at Kennedy Rec. You know what he told me, too? He said, I actually remember this now, that he said, I didn't sound like I was committed. And I'm like,
wow.
That's one of those times.
But he was probably right, because he offered me the job instead of saying, hey, thank you, I'm looking forward to starting. I was like, listen, I will give you a call soon. I'm not sure when, but just stay near your phone.
This is one of those times where you wish you had a time machine to go back and tell yourself, no, this is an opportunity to take advantage of a story that you're going to tell for the next 30 years. When Tony, the Golden Corral manager, says, you don't sound like it's because I'm not, Tony. It's Golden Corral in El Cajon. I'm 16. I'm going to be the busboy. I'm not committed to it. I'm looking.
You think my parents are happy about this, Tony?
I'm looking for as little work as possible. I want it to be as easy as possible. I'm not looking for upward mobility. I'm just looking to make my $100 a week and keep it moving.
Tony, when
So
you told
back
your
off,
mom that
Tony.
you're going to be an assistant manager at Golden Corral, did she go out of her way to just tell the entire family?
Not committed to you, Tony.
Denied twice a job at Discovery Zone. Now it's coming back to me.
Twice?
Twice.
It's by the same people, or did you unimpress
Same people.
two different groups?
No, I unimpressed one person twice.
Let's bring
Bastard.
Sliwa back in. Maybe I missed something the
Would've
first
been
time.
great.
Nope, same kid. Don't want him. Go back to Kennedy, Sliwa.
Oh, so you think you have experience because your mom has a daycare? No, looking for a different idiot with no experience.
The Juice in L.A. You're on with Trav and Slee. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Good top of the morning.
Same to you.
Three coaches, a bubble championship, and basically losing seasons for our expectations over the last 4 to 5 years, and we still pointing the finger at other people. Address the elephant in the room. It's clutch sports is the problem. We last night, when the Lakers made a run last night, and if you looked on the floor, they brought back in their starting five. Our starting five was all clutch players, and we're getting the wrong ones, not the superstars. Brown, where did he come from? Toscano, clutch. AD, clutch. LeBron, clutch. Over the years, 8 and 9 clutch players on the team. And for us to say that Westbrook to get traded, nobody's going to pick up that trade, that $47 million contract.
Sure they are.
And he's not producing.
Yeah, no. Okay, let me answer a couple of these. So you bring up some interesting points. Number one, let's do the last thing you said first. That's exactly what makes him attractive, is the $47 million,
It's
right?
off the books. You get to clean your books.
They want it on their ledger so that when he's done at the end of the year, you got a $47 million hole that you get to fill with different players.
Yeah.
That's where his value is.
And
that's
and
the
can I-
only
can
value
I add
he
one
has.
thing, too? If you're a team that's trying to tank right now because they all want to go after Victor,
Yeah.
if the Utah Jazz are all of a sudden winning some games in the beginning, they're like, we got to get rid of these guys.
Yeah, get Jordan Clarkson.
I'm not kidding. That's
You're right.
probably the thought process is if we start winning games, whatever sort of good players we have, if we get rid of them and then we're not going to use Russ because we'll probably tell Russ to go home, that's advantageous to them.
So, as far as the clutch thing goes, to address DeJuice's problem or question, look, this is not new. There have always been agents or agencies in the NBA that control player movement. You know, a million years ago, it was somebody different. There have been moments where it was David Falk. There have been moments where it was Bill Duffy.
Pelinka.
There's been Pelinka. There have been guys. Pelinka's a little bit different because he had Kobe.
Kobe was his
It
guy.
was the
Harden,
guy.
I want to say, was there
Yeah,
too.
but like Clutch and these other guys, David Falk had Jordan and all these. They had. There's always been an agent or an agency that has influence. This is not new, and it's the price of doing business with getting some. If you want to deal with Michael Jordan, you deal with David Falk. If you want to deal with LeBron James, you deal with Clutch. That's fine. It's the price of doing business. But what you need, in conjunction with being business partners with them, bringing in one of their players, you need to have an honest relationship at some point where when an idea from maybe the agency comes up, you say, listen, I hear what you're saying. I know that this is what's in the best interest of your clients and maybe over here, but this is not going to work for us, and here's why. And it needs to be a two-way street. You can't just let them steamroll you. I'm not saying that, but that an agency has influence on a team, that's not new. That's been going on for 40 years.
Remember, what was it, a month ago, DeRozan did that podcast with J.J. Redick?
Mm-hmm.
It was also identifying the wrong person, right? If you had a chance to go get DeRozan, and this is from DeMar DeRozan. This is not me. This is not you. This isn't just rumors. DeMar DeRozan thought he was going to be a Laker. They got Russell Westbrook. That one move has forced last year a wash. There's nothing. And it's leaking into this year. Does this year seem any different than last year?
Not at all.
It seems like
it might be worse.
Well, this is kind of the funny thing. I feel like I'm still in last year. Like I feel like the season ended and then the season restarted and it's back to the same year.
Well, I said it to you a day or two ago that this feels like they're rerunning last year's thing. Like, let's try it again. It's a new season. Let's try a new thing with new guys. Different approach. You got a different coach. Let's try something new. This does not feel particularly new.
I have a tweet, guys. So Dan Peralta says, Alan Sliwa, don't sweat the Golden Corral. Dave Roberts couldn't manage that place
100%
either.
he couldn't.
Well, it depends on what they told him to do.
For all I know, Dave Roberts interviewed me.
Dave
Roberts told me no.
First, then the green beans. Put the mashed potatoes at the very front. You want them to fill up on the cheap stuff. Don't put the prime rib and the smoked salmon at the very end. That's the expensive stuff. You got to hide it in the back. Wait until you go two times through the buffet line before you bring in the prime rib.
I was leveraging Golden Corral for the Kennedy Recreation.
Terrific.
Kennedy
I absolutely
job.
love it. DeMarco Farr, the Super Bowl champ, joins us next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Hey, Rams fans, Travis Rogers here. You have got to get the new ESPNLA app. In fact, let's go down to the locker room and get a little help.
What's up, Rams fans? This is Matthew Stafford. React to the Rams on the new ESPNLA app.
This is Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. Listen to all your Rams talk on the ESPNLA app.
You are just one tap away from Rams All Access. Travis and Slee, Mason and Ireland, and Sedano and Cap. Download it now on the App Store or Google Play.
Golden Corral.
Everyone can agree on the new Power Lunch at Golden Corral. Handmade personal-sized
This is your
pizzas,
company,
grilled steak,
Steve.
burgers, hot roast beef sandwiches, taco salad, and more. All
There you go,
fast
taco
and great
salad,
low
hot
price.
roast beef sandwiches. Emily, were you a Golden Corral customer?
I did. My family used to go after church on Sunday sometimes. So I don't know if I told this story before or not, but when I was a kid, I could only have 2 pieces of bacon for breakfast. Like, that's all I was allowed to have. But I went to Golden Corral with my aunt and uncle, and
you did tell the story.
and they were like, "Oh yeah, you can get
Go crazy.
however much you want."
They didn't know about the two bacon rule.
I came back with a plate of bacon, just bacon, stacked really high, and I set it down at my little table, and I was ready to eat it, like 6 years old. And then, I just did not. I got a little sick after that.
I would think a pile of bacon at 6 years old is aggressive.
That's surprising.
Sounds
'cause
like heaven.
The Golden Corral, that I know, that I interviewed for, only have the best quality when it comes to bacon.
So DeMarco Farr joining us here in studio. We'll talk a little Rams and Niners coming up in
That's
just
how
a
I
little
want to
bit.
die. I want to die on a plate of bacon.
Well,
yeah, I want to OD on bacon.
I feel like the odds are not zero.
Yeah, good, right? Yeah, die happy. Yeah, keep it coming.
I'm putting myself in that as well. We'll get to your shooting contest between the two of you coming up in just a little bit.
Yeah, this guy just shared something that I did not know of, but go ahead.
I told you yesterday. You just didn't listen to me, but that's fine.
Maybe you should have texted me after the show.
See, okay, let's start right here. He was telling me I could beat DeMarco. I said, here's just
Wait, why did no? It wasn't I can beat DeMarco.
Yeah.
Something came up. What was
the
it? The
Laker 3-point shooting is what we were talking about. You're
Okay.
like, well, I can make a few.
Was it 8%?
Something like we got into the fact of who would win a shooting contest between this person or that person. You got brought into it, and I said that when you and I did the show together on Tuesday, that you told me you can shoot a little bit.
I can shoot better than 8%.
Yeah,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So when Slee's like, no, I could beat DeMarco. I said, here's my.
Why did you think that immediately?
Well, because I have confidence in
Do
my
I look
jumper.
like that guy?
No, I just have confidence in my
this
jumper.
This is just you.
Yes.
I thought you were looking at me like I can beat that guy.
No,
Oh.
he's saying what he's saying is, if you're an athlete,
a professional athlete,
Yeah.
then you could do it all. And I'm like, okay, I get that. I understand that. Kirk Morrison hit 39 home runs. You were solid at third base. I get all that.
Yeah.
You can go outside of your sport. If I could do one thing, I think it's hit a jumper. So I had confidence in myself. And then you said something about a Ray Allen camp. What the hell are you talking
Up
about?
in Seattle. I was in college. He was playing for the Supersonics. And he came down and clinicked us on a jump shot.
I don't doubt, Slee, that you can
Ray
shoot.
Allen out of all players?
I don't doubt that you can shoot among your peer group.
Gary Payton?
When it comes to an athletic endeavor, always pick the professional athlete. It's not super complicated, right? You played in the NFL and won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You played college football and won a national championship.
Yes.
You played high school football and won a state championship.
Correct.
I have a feeling
Yeah,
he
but
might be able to move.
They're two different sports.
Well, not really.
No,
it's athletic
competition.
ability.
It's just competition.
It's competition.
You see how I'm looking at you now, right? See?
Hey, let me give you an example.
Once we've
Let me give you
established
an
that you
example.
didn't look at me and say I can beat that guy,
DeMarco.
now I like you again.
DeMarco.
Okay,
Let
go
me
ahead.
give you an example.
Go ahead.
Antonio Gates played college ball, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Antonio Gates is known as he used a lot of his plays in the NFL almost as if he was posting somebody
Used to post up in the red zone.
Okay.
Yes.
That's different because I know Antonio Gates was a basketball player. I didn't know you play basketball. How am I supposed to know you play basketball?
It's not play basketball. He's a professional athlete. Whether
Yeah, but
it's
you're tying
anything.
in.
He means I could have played basketball if I chose the
if
sport.
he has the natural, the clay was there
Yeah.
to pick a thing.
Yeah.
His clay is different than yours.
You know the only problem with me was they had me guarding centers. You can't move me, but you can always shoot over me.
Yeah.
So the sport just didn't fit my body type. So football was easier.
How many
But it's not
threes-
like I can't play.
Where's your favorite to shoot threes from?
Anywhere.
Top of the key?
Anywhere. Anywhere.
Okay. All right, so let's just say top of the key.
Okay,
You take
fine.
10 threes.
Yeah.
How many do you think you hit?
Can I ask a question real
Go
quick?
ahead.
Are we doing like high school distance, college distance, NBA distance?
NBA.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little far, but okay. That's out there.
Oh, this is done already.
It's out there.
This is already over. Okay,
How many
never
are you
mind.
hitting? How many are you hitting?
Are we playing in a game or just me and you?
No, we're just shooting threes.
I want
Are there people
one-on-one,
watching?
please.
This guy wants,
Al's
this
just
guy,
one-on-one.
this guy
tweaking
wants
the
to play.
format.
Yeah, what are we doing?
I'm not doing that. He wants to play 21 against me.
What are we doing?
We're just taking threes. We're just shooting threes.
60%.
Okay. All right.
Now, if
That's
it's
a lot.
If it's
That's
if it's a
really,
competi-
really good,
Now you said
60%.
top of the key is the easiest shot.
Top of the key is
Yeah,
the easiest shot.
Right. Let's
Okay,
move
so if you go two corner, you
40.
take 10 total.
40.
Okay.
Baseline 40.
Yeah. When do you want to do it?
Anytime, anytime, anywhere.
All right.
What did I say?
All right, we'll
as soon as you
coordinate
text,
it. Yeah,
as soon as
coordinate
Emily texted me, what did I say? Anytime, anywhere.
Okay, we'll coordinate.
Yeah.
All right, that'll be
my,
fun.
my next question was how much we got on it.
Good question.
I said this yesterday, but now you're out of the mix because there's just no point of. How about a steak dinner?
A trip to the Pink Rhino?
Oh, done. Let's go.
It's not
Either one.
A steak dinner at the Pink Rhino.
right, let's go.
Peppermint Hippo.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure that we get the right place.
Peppermint Hippo.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. My man Sleep.
Do you still feeling good about your chances?
Listen, I'm ready to do it. When he
What's
wants to
your
do it, I'm
background?
going to do it.
Did you play hoop?
I played basketball my entire life. I mean, it's not like I'm sitting here.
Did you play in high school?
Yeah, I played high school.
Did you play in the varsity?
I played JV. I did not.
Have you ever played with Ray Allen?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, because there are layers to the
We're getting
answers
there.
to these
Okay.
questions.
So basketball, I played my entire life.
Right.
And if there's one thing that I thought I'm okay at is
hoop.
hitting my jumpers.
Okay, let's go.
So we'll do it.
All right,
Well,
done.
I
Get in on this too.
Oh, I'm going whenever you guys
Yeah,
do
but
it.
get
I'm
in
gonna
on it
be
too.
there.
Take some jumpers too.
I'll shoot, but I won't. I'm not going to beat him.
Can't we do a remote or something?
Did you
and
not
have him
catch that?
commentate as we do it? Put the headsets on.
I said I'm
Well,
not.
the
I
athletic
said
club.
I'm
I'll
not gonna
rebound.
beat him. Which means there's another person in the room that I can't beat.
Come on, I like this. Let's make it happen.
I love it.
Let's
I
do
love
it.
I'll do it. All right. What is it? The Niners have beaten the Rams.
I'm gonna go stretch.
433 times in a row during
Pretty
the
much.
regular season.
Yeah.
Rams got it done when it mattered most. I've heard this before. Well, the offensive line is banged up for San Francisco. That Debo might not play. That Joey Bosa is dealing with a groin injury. All these things. That this gives the Rams. I've heard this song so many times, DeMarco. Should I listen to it, or are we going to get a repeat of what we've seen so many times before?
You know what? They have a psychological edge over the Rams. That's obvious. JB Long and I just spent an hour talking about this, where the Rams have had a chance to bury them. The 49ers have come in scuffling. They're teetering on the edge of, just falling into a cliff, and they wind up playing their best game against you. So there's no way to say it. Look, they just think they're better than you. And even after JB said this, after they lost to Kansas City, all their beat writers said, well, at least you have the Rams coming up next. I mean, this is minutes after
the
getting
defending
smoked.
Super Bowl champion.
Right, exactly. So that's how they feel about you. So the best thing about this week is the Rams are coming off a bye. They're as healthy as they're ever going to be this year. So I think it's now time for you to step forward and play your best game against them. Not only just win, this is your opportunity to absolutely take it to them. We said style points don't matter, just go get the W. Throw that out the window. You need to look great beating the 49ers at home this week.
Did you have a squad when you play where it's just mentally, you just knew, like, all right, yeah, this is just different? And the only reason I ask the question is I wonder where the Rams are mentally when they take on the San Francisco 49ers. Seems like every time they play, I know they got the one in the playoffs, which is the only thing that matters. But did you ever face a team where they had you mentally? And by the way, I'm sure that's 90% of it right there. If they have you mentally, then the chance of you winning is a lot tougher.
Was it the Niners?
Yeah. I mean, when I was a player, I think they had beaten us like 17 straight. It
Damn.
was ridiculous. Not only did they beat us, they laughed at us. I think I told you this story. We're playing them in Busch Stadium in St. Louis. We had just moved. And Jerry Rice goes in motion, right? And we had completely screwed it up. So he's going in motion across the formation, and nobody ran with him. And we're in man coverage. And I could hear him giggling as he went by. Right. I'm in a 3-point stance, and I can hear him laughing as he goes by. And they score
Timeout.
again.
Yeah, right.
It was ridiculous. It was absolutely
DeMarco
terrible.
called it timeout.
So they buried us. They kept beating us. We had a chance to beat them when I can't remember the running back. Garrison Hurst was their running back. We had a chance. They had Jim Drunkenmiller at quarterback.
Boy.
Exactly.
Ay, ay, ay.
We had a chance to beat them, and we lost that game. It was just like, no matter what, we just can't beat them. It was just this psychological edge. But that 99 season, we all got together as a group and said, look, Super Bowl is one thing, but we can't go anywhere until we beat them. We have to beat the 49ers first, and then we'll worry about what comes after that.
DeMarco, the Rams are 3-3, and you and I, we talk every week on the Rams pregame show. We talk about Sean McVay, we talk about Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson and Cam Akers, and why isn't this happening on offense? Why isn't the offensive line? We do talk about Aaron Donald because he's Aaron Donald, but
and there's no one else to talk about.
There's not a lot of Jalen, obviously, but the Rams are 3-3. are the only reason they are 3-3, the only reason that they're still in the mix is because of Raheem Morris and the defense that he's put together that has allowed them to keep their head above water, because the offense has not been good, full stop, really.
Pretty much everybody you mentioned, save for Cam Akers. Yeah, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Bobby Wagner. Your top flight guys are the reason you're 3-3. You really are. So there's a lot of guys that need to step up and contribute to what's going on the football field. But Jalen Ramsey, I think, he has 4 tackles for loss. And I think he is second on the football team in tackles for loss. That's a cornerback that has more tackles for loss than some of your outside linebackers or all of your outside linebackers. That can't happen. That's just not a way to run a defense. So there are a lot of guys that still need to contribute to what's been going on defense. But, yeah, I agree with you. This defense right now is leading the football team. This defense has all the best players on it. So if it is to be, it's going to be up to them. So
are they going to have to win games 17-14? Is that how they're going to have to win these games?
I hope not, because Brian Allen is back at center. So your biggest voice, a Super Bowl winning center, is back in the huddle. So you have your loudest voice back when you talk about calling protections. This is the way we're going to slide. It's loud and it's confident. Everybody listens. So you can take care of that. That goes to protecting Matthew Stafford. Number 2, you can stop having these stupid pre-snap penalties. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's not a center that's saying, okay, it's on 2, guys. No, it's on 2. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like that. So it's a little bit different. So having him back is going to be huge. And Van Jefferson's coming back. So I made a mistake years ago when Deshaun Jackson was here. I thought he was your fastest player, top-end speed guy. I was corrected on the field pregame. It's not him. It's actually Van Jefferson.
Really?
Van Jefferson is your fastest guy, top end. So having that guy back takes the top off the defense. Plus, he's great in this McVay offense doing that Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods type stuff. So your offense functions better with him in the lineup. So your offense now has a chance to be explosive again.
One more quick one. If they did lose, they lose to the Niners again. They're 3-4. You think they still make the playoffs?
Wow, probably not. I mean, I think it would be just too psychologically damaging if you lose to the 49ers again, and then you'd be 3-4. And then what's coming next? Now, I don't know what Tampa's going to be by the time you get down there.
Problem is you could have Seattle and San Francisco on top of you in the division.
And Geno Smith has them rolling. I think to get to where you want to go, to get back and into the playoffs and defend this championship, you're going to have to beat San Francisco this weekend.
Not only is that a sentence I never thought I heard, but it's true that Geno Smith has them rolling. Yeah, he absolutely does.
I think we made a mistake again. We're blaming the player instead of blaming the franchise. He did get drafted to the Jets.
Good point.
Yeah.
that's a sentence that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. Super Bowl champ, DeMarco Fall. We'll see you Sunday, DeMarco.
I'll see you on the court, good man.
Yeah,
got it. All right.
Going to Venice Beach, double rims.
Factor Cap coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Hey, if you've been hurt in an accident, you need to make that next phone call an important one.
Travis and Sliwa, we're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's time for Factor Cap.
Oh, that's Cap. That's so Cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, just so you know, I did send you guys the closest location to an Abercrombie
I didn't
near
see
us.
it. No, I clicked on it. It said
What do
not.
we got?
Said
It's
not
20 minutes
accessible.
away. It's
LA.
by the LACMA.
Okay.
Said closed
And
14
there are
years
several
ago.
near that.
Surprised it wasn't in Bristol or Hartford or something.
It's like 2,000 miles away.
Right.
All right. So this morning I went to Dunkin' to get myself coffee before work, and the line moved incredibly slowly, and it was only because there was only a couple cars, but each car took 8 years at the
To
little
order. Yeah,
booth
they've never
thing.
looked at it before.
Yeah,
Coffee
exactly.
and donuts.
It's
Pick.
totally different every time you go. I also always order on the app, and I say, "Hey, it's Emily. I'm at the window." So you need to know what you want from the drive-thru before you're at the window. Travis, Factor Cap.
I've never, ever, and I hit a drive-through at least once every other week, right? If not more. I know what I want as I'm exiting the freeway. Like, I don't, never mind getting in front of the board. It depends on where you, if you're, let's just use McDonald's, for instance, or In-N-Out. I know I want a double-double, animal style with chopped chilies, fries, and a pink lemonade. I know that as I'm 20 minutes away. Yeah, I'm with you. If you pull up there, look, if you've never been, I guess, but you know what the genre is. You know Taco Bell's got tacos. You know that McDonald's has hamburgers.
So
It's not that
authentic.
complicated. Just knock it out.
If you don't know what you want, go inside. You have time to see. And also, one added thing.
I'm not going that far.
One added
I'm going to go and support the people. I have no idea what
He
they
was
want here.
on FaceTime with someone
Maybe he's
up
picking up
to the
lunch from
window
somebody.
trying to
Yep.
get their order.
Yep.
It's a lot.
Okay, here's my thing. Here's my thing. Okay. Starbucks is probably the only place I really go through consistent basis on one of those drive-thrus. Do I already know what I want from Starbucks? I do. However, when I do pull up, maybe I'm looking at the screen and saying, wow, there's so many great items here. Should I add something to my order? Maybe I'll just take a quick second, but for the most part, I'm in and I'm out. I'm with you on the whole, and this doesn't even have to just be a drive-thru. How about when people are walking into the same Starbucks every single day that they go to, and they're looking at the menu like they've never walked into a Starbucks before? And then they're looking on their phone talking to somebody. That kills me right there. Okay, no, what do you want again? Okay, that's right. Ask Patricia.
Always write
Who?
it down.
Why are you asking Patricia? I'm in line. I think there are certain kind of ways to do it. If somebody needs a second, that's fine. You sounded like you were not in the mood to wait even 30 seconds for somebody.
It was totally 13 minutes extra in this drive-thru, which is a long time in the drive-thru.
Long time in the drive-thru.
It is.
That's a long time. What do you got, Taylor?
Okay, fact. I know what I want, but Emily, I think you're doing this wrong. You're ordering ahead, you said, right?
Go in.
Yeah.
Go in at that point. Just go get the order.
Drive-thru is always longer. Always longer. Always
If you
longer.
already ordered it ahead, then just go grab it from them.
Was it uphill?
Yes, key question. No, it was not.
There are
uphill.
lines that wrap around a drive-thru and there's not a soul inside. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go inside.
Of course. Like you said, it's always quicker to go in, especially if you've ordered ahead. It's usually just sitting there on the counter.
Yes, but then I also want to listen to my podcast. Anyway, it's a whole thing. I know
You
that
can
I'm in the
listen-
wrong.
You should have used those 13 minutes to listen to your podcast.
Yeah, you would have had
Yeah, I was going to say.
a lot more time to listen to the podcast.
I know I'm in the wrong. I'm in the wrong here. I guess it's fine. But okay, so this is a story from Michael Imperioli, who played Christopher. Mhm.
Chrissy Moltisanti.
Yep, on Sopranos. So he talked about his first day of work, and he said this, and how he had a very terrible first day. So he said, I had to drive backwards down a sidewalk. He didn't know how to drive at this point in time. With trees on both sides, blah, blah. I did it like 4 times, and the 5th time, boom, right into a tree. Airbags go off. Jim's head snaps back. It was my first day. I met the guy. There's smoke, people running, and I'm like, they're going to fire me. Man, this is really bad.
This is his first day at The Sopranos?
Yes.
Okay.
With Gandolfini in the car with him. So he had to drive. He didn't know how to drive, and he ran into a tree on his very first day on
That's
this
a
job.
good start.
So you have had a very terrible first day at work before. Alan, Thatcher Cap.
Terrible first day at work. No, I don't think I have. To cap for me.
Golden Corral?
I'm trying to think. I didn't get
Never
get
got there.
hired. I didn't get that far. I didn't get that far to have a bad day at work. So I've only really had 3 jobs in my life. The rec center, worked at the 1090 down in San Diego sports radio station, and this station. Maybe you could say worked at a country / remember I told you the country /
right,
oldies because they sold
formats.
690.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a bad day every day because what was I doing at a country oldie station? But I didn't have a moment like that. It's like, hey, I just got started, and it went from there.
No, I did plenty of bad last days. I mean, that's kind of, you work in this business a long time. That your last day is very rarely a good one unless it's retirement. But no, first days, because that's a unique set of circumstances where you have to perform at a high level as an actor. But usually the first day is like, coffee pot's over there. Here's your desk. Why don't you settle in? This is Brenda. She's from HR. Make sure that you fill out your paperwork with her. The first day is like the easiest day you're ever going to have.
I just thought of one. I'm going to throw this one in real quick. I was working 1090. It was one of my first events that I was working. San Diego State had a basketball game. We carried the Aztecs, right? I'm going to go load for promotions. I'm doing the put up the tent, pass out the koozies, keychains, all that stuff. Just literally your typical radio event. I park, and I'm not supposed to be parked where I'm parked, but there's nowhere for me to park, and I got to take this tent and everything else. So I'm like, I'm going to do this real quick, just put it in and come back. I come back.
Ticket.
Full ticket. So the first day, the first event, I'm telling my promotions manager at the time, Rich Bachman, I remember the guy's name. I'm like, he's like, how'd the event go? Went pretty good. I have a $300 ticket, and I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I thought he was, what's going to happen. They ended up covering it, so I got lucky.
Not bad.
Taylor?
Yeah, in fact, I've had a few of these. I think I was 14 or 15, and I was working at a warehouse, and in this warehouse, they had forklifts, and they had these big boxes of seed soybeans. And they decided to throw me on the forklift at that young age. I wasn't certified or anything. This wasn't OSHA approved at all, and they were kind of shorthanded, so they threw me on the forklift one day. And I had about 4 or 5 of these heavy boxes on the forklift, and they're just full of soybeans. And they were top heavy. I took a turn too fast, and I knocked all the soybeans all over the ground. And
did you have to put them back in the box? Are they usable? Do you have to throw them away?
At that point, we just
sweep them up.
Yeah,
sell them.
We swept them up.
Sell them.
We swept them up.
Put the 15-year-old on the forklift. What could go wrong?
I was back on like a month later.
Awesome.
They were forgiving.
I worked at a daycare when I was in college, and one of my first days there too. I mean, it's just typical kid stuff, but I just got both poop and pee and vomit on me all over one time. So it was just like great. This one kid was just being a lot, and then I also had a kid I could not soothe. He had a really bad separation anxiety from his mom. Couldn't soothe him whatsoever. So yeah, that was great.
You want lunch?
What's the matter with you? Stop crying.
She's coming back. Gosh.
Maybe. Yeah, that's always a good one to tell them.
All right. So
we should run a daycare here.
We'd be great.
Right. Last night I watched Sixth Sense, not for the first time, but again for the first time in a bit. And, great movie, great twist. So you enjoy trying to figure out the twist of a movie when you're watching it. Taylor, Fat or Cap?
I don't. I'm somebody that likes to go into a movie without watching a trailer. I like to be completely surprised every time.
Trev?
I'm with Taylor. I don't mind knowing that, you're really going to like this. It's got a cool ending. Like, I like that doesn't bother me, but I don't need to try to, I'm not, whether I'm reading a book or seeing a movie or whatever it is, I'm not trying to solve it as it's going on. I'm just letting it kind of wash over me, enjoying it as it happens. I don't need to know the twist ahead of time. I don't need to figure it out, but the movie, when you do get the big reveal at the end, you're like, oh wow, that's awesome. It's really, really exciting, but I don't need to know going in.
And if it's too obvious, it's not a good movie.
You guys should go see Halloween Ends. So good, so good. I kind of fall in the same line here. I don't want to do any research. Like when I go see a movie, I don't watch. Do you watch trailers usually?
Occasionally.
I don't usually even watch trailers unless it's like a documentary. If it's a documentary, all right, I'll
does everybody die?
Kind of have an idea of it.
That's the worst time to do it. Documentaries.
Does everyone get killed at the end?
No, documentaries are important because then you're going to find out whether you want to see it or not. Documentaries take a lot of time, so I'm kind of on the same boat of this one.
Did you know that he was dead when you watched it this time?
Hey.
That movie's got to be 20 years old?
The funny thing
is,
so I watched it maybe for the first time in 2012, and I did not have it spoiled. Obviously, we know, like the kid says, I see dead people, because that's everywhere. So you find that out, and you're like, oh, that's the twist. And then, but I hadn't had it spoiled for me, so maybe you just ruined it for someone else, Travis.
Well, that's fine. I don't really care about that. It's 20 years old. If you
Jacked
haven't seen
up,
it
bro.
by now, you haven't
Jacked
seen
up.
it. Not
Be considerate.
My problem. Not considerate me. Nice to meet you. My name's Travis. You should pay attention to who's sitting across from you every single day. All right. Make sure you're listening. We're going to give away another LAFC Fun Box before the end of the show. That's coming up before too long. Today is the anniversary of 2 different World Series here in town, and I'm going to make an argument that they might be the 2 least memorable ones ever. It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, it's time.
Hey, Rams fans, Travis Rogers here. You have got to get the new ESPNLA app. In fact, let's go down to the locker room and get a little help.
What's up, Rams fans? This is Matthew Stafford. React to the Rams on the new ESPNLA app.
This is Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. Listen to all your Rams talk on the ESPNLA app.
You are just one tap away from Rams All Access. Travis and Slee, Mason and Ireland, and Sedano and Cap. Download it now on the App Store or Google Play.
LA sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
All right, guys. So I just got the email, the eliminator pool.
I'm fired.
So like the worst day is the last day, right? All right, help me with this. There's 3 of us left. There's a couple of teams that you would expect to be pretty heavy favorites, but most of them are road teams. Baltimore, Tampa feels like a stay away. I don't need any part of that. Carolina, Atlanta, don't need any part of that. I'm going to skip this next one because I think it might be the pick.
Okay.
Miami has Tua back. Looked pretty good last week.
Mm-hmm.
With Tua, they've been really, really good. They're on the road at Detroit, who's won 1 game this season.
Not crazy about
Means
that
they're
one.
due.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that one.
And Jared Goff lives to torment me, so if I pick that one, Jared Goff's going to throw for 500 yards, so I feel
100%.
like that's a stay away. Arizona, who I think is genuinely lousy, at Minnesota, who's leading the NFC North. In Minnesota, Arizona. Anybody want any action on that?
No.
Why not?
Arizona can have one of their good games once a month, and it could be against Minnesota.
I agree with that. And Minnesota, it's Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, it's not like
you
they're-
love Kirk Cousins in a big moment.
What time is the game?
1 o'clock.
That's better for Kirk Cousins, clearly, because he can't play in prime time.
Good point. But Kyler Murray.
They should not air any of the games, not even locally.
Play them Saturday afternoons.
It's streaming, but it's after the game ends.
All right, here's the other one that I think is particularly interesting. Tennessee, who got off to a terrible start but has been really good since then.
Yeah.
At Houston, who stinks.
Division rivals.
Division rivals on the road.
Give me some more.
All right. New York, only 1 loss. At Seattle.
No, I want nothing to do with that.
I agree with that. Cincinnati, bad start,
Okay.
playing a lot better all of a sudden. Against Cleveland, who stinks.
At Cleveland?
In Cleveland. That's a Monday nighter.
I like that one better than some of the other ones you picked.
Okay, here's the one that I'm leaning towards. And by the way, feel free to send me your input on Twitter. I would love to have, because I need to blame somebody when we ultimately do this, is basically what we're getting at. The Dallas Cowboys are at home, taking on the Chicago Bears, who are dreadful, who also just put nearly 40 points on Bill Belichick in New England on Monday night and got me knocked out the first time.
But weather won't be an issue. So they have had their 2 wins in bad weather days. So clearly, if they're playing in Dallas, weather won't be an issue.
Inside, Dallas is good. Dallas.
Yeah.
That Micah Parsons going after Fields, I feel like that could swing in my favor. Dallas is good. Dallas has Dak back.
You said Dallas at home too, right?
Dallas is at home.
Do you have any idea what they have left?
I don't. The picks don't go up until the games start. Then I know who's picked who.
Mace says split in all caps.
They're not an option.
Not
It's
even
not
an
offered
option.
to split
So
this time.
somebody said, yeah,
But
somebody's
I don't
trying
even
not to
think
split.
it was a somebody, because I was never given the option. Unless they just went back to my previous where I offered to split. Maybe that could be it. That the other 2 people that wanted to stay
You think
in
it's
were a
automatic that
I
all
would've thought
3
we would've-
lost, that bam, you got to
be.
go again?
Could be.
Okay.
Dallas, Lee?
Dallas or Cincy?
So we're going.
Dallas.
I'm putting my money on Micah Parsons or Joe Burrow. That's what we're choosing, right? Parsons seems like a more consistent bet. Am I wrong?
You haven't used Cowboys, go Cowboys. They're home too.
Yeah, I think so. I reserve the right to change my
The
mind.
Bears are unstoppable right now. They're
If
going on
Justin
this-
Fields beats Bill Belichick and Micah Parsons in back-to-back weeks,
That's pretty funny.
I'm done watching the NFL.
That's pretty funny.
Until next weekend. And then I'll be right back in all over again. Today, it's the 2-year anniversary of 2 Southern California World Series. The Dodgers, a couple of years ago in Texas, when they beat the Tampa Bay Rays. Let me say that again. The Dodgers beat the Rays in Arlington, Texas.
Yep, makes a lot
to
of
win
sense.
the World Series. And the Angels beat the Giants in the 2022 World Series the 2002, I should say.
Feels like it was 20 years ago.
It was 20 years ago. The Angels were team number 2 here in town since they showed up. It's the Dodgers, no big deal.
Yeah.
They win the World Series, they're still team number 2. Fast forward 20 years, they're still team number 2. They're still run, we'll see what it looks like with the new owner. But it really didn't move the needle in any meaningful way, right? For Angel fans, super exciting but it didn't change the balance of power at all in this city. It was like, oh, Angels won, I think it was the first time in 50, they've been around 50 years, give or take.
Yeah.
Exciting. It was a good World Series, but it was like, yeah, okay. It was the Diamondbacks. It was the Florida Marlins. It just kind of had that feel of, oh, okay, that team won. It didn't change much here.
I think this is the only lens that you could look at things through. You can only look at things through an LA perspective, right?
True.
Like that's just how it is. You have the Los Angeles Dodgers that you watch every single night. And I think sometimes it's tough for Dodger fans
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
You know, not last night because the Lakers were on Tuesday night. You know what I watched?
Already?
It wasn't the Fernando. It wasn't Fernando, but it was really
Well, it can't
close.
even be the Dodger channel right now. Already?
88 World Series? Is there one
warmer, getting warmer. It was the Dodger-mentary. It's what they're called.
Okay.
It's the Dodger-mentary on the 1990 or 1988 NLCS.
Do you know where I am? Do you know where I am in this stage? It's so stupid. I think 2 days ago they had their exit interviews. AJ Preller, and Bob Melvin, all that. I'm like, I don't want to hear anything yet.
I get it.
That's where I am right now.
I totally get it.
But maybe in a week or 2 weeks.
Socha's going to hit this home run off a good one. Here it comes. Here it comes. He did it. Yes.
Maybe I should do that with the
went out
Lakers.
again.
Maybe I should be freaking talking about what they did
Go back
20
and
years
watch
ago.
Kobe throw Shaq that lob against the Blazers.
I'll do that. But yeah, you say it didn't really move the needle for the Angels.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever going to change. I just don't think that's ever going to change. The Clippers are a good team.
Yep.
They got the richest owner in professional sports. He gave them $400 million in an Escalade. They just put all the cash in an Escalade, pulled up to the Great Western Forum the Forum, and said, this lawsuit is over, right? And it's done. Now he's building his stadium.
By the way, that place is enormous. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, so it went.
I get confused when I walked out of SoFi. I'm like, I don't know what's going. I don't know what's going up here. Is this commercial? Is it the stadium?
It's right across from Hollywood Park Casino.
Okay.
So that's Century and Prairie.
Okay.
It's went from a hole in the ground to this giant structure in what felt like 5 minutes. It's huge. It is so impressive from the road.
These squads, and this is why I say I don't think you're going to fully understand it, because the teams that you associate yourself with, they're not normal teams. The Dodgers are not a normal team. They're just not. You know, you can't – you'll crack a joke about the Diamondbacks, about the Padres, about the Rockies, about the Angels. Those are actually the norm.
It's funny to think of it
The
that way.
Dodgers
You're right.
are the powerhouse that have been on steroids for so many years because they're just such a powerful brand. They represent L.A. closer than any other baseball team does. The Twins are different. The Padres are different. You kind of look around. I think the Angels, when you say they never made a crack into the market, I think you're right, and I don't think that will ever change.
Yeah, maybe not. But you would have thought that, okay, World Series, but it wasn't like one thing happened and the next thing happened the next day. But shortly thereafter, 8 or 10 years, you get a modern-day Willie Mays in Mike Trout, a guy that is just arguably one of the best players the league has ever seen.
Yeah.
You get a unicorn in Shohei Ohtani that literally we've never seen before. And it's like, yeah, the cool. Let me know when he's batting, but otherwise I'm not interested. It's just, they've actually gotten less meaningful.
Let me throw this out there real quick, because Stat Hero of the Day, we're talking about the Dodgers winning their World Series, Angels winning it 20 years ago. Stat Hero of the Day presented by Stat Hero, daily fantasy app that focuses on the player lineups, not the Vegas lines. Sign up at stathero.com and use that promo code 710. Get that 100% deposit match that we keep talking about. Put in 50, they'll give you 50. That's promo code 710. Make sure to go to stathero.com. Reshaping the future of daily fantasy. Visit stathero.com for details. That's probably the only thing that could change what you just said. If the Angels were actually good, like really good, and Shohei Ohtani is Shohei Ohtani, maybe then now you're getting some people to come on. Like it's going to take that type of double combination to not ever compete with the Dodgers, but get people to say, I'm interested in that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm never going to not be a Dodger fan. I would never switch from the Dodgers to a different team. But if the Angels were really good and Ohtani was if Ohtani were still playing a week ago,
You'd support the local.
I would
You're out
watch
in Anaheim.
those games virtually every night. I would flip back and forth between those games. When it was a commercial Dodge game, I'm going over there. I want to see it. And now it's Ohtani pitching tonight? No, I'm out. Yeah. Is he in the lineup tonight? No, I'm out. And
Yep.
I mean, that's been that way for a very, very long time. All right. The Lakers continue to look a lot like the Lakers. So
take a couple segments off.
What is the goal? What is the goal now that you've played a handful of games? You know what the schedule's coming up. You know that you have what you have. Where do you go from here? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPNLA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPNLA app.
Download the new ESPNLA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
And here we go. It is Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa is on for your Thursday. We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We begin 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long.
Here we go.
Live from LA. Sweet Tea, Travis Rogers. Hit him in the face, Sliwa.
I'll still take the face.
Travis and Sliwa right now.
So how many times do you think I've watched the video of my smoked tequila mandala tequila old-fashioned from Gaucho Grill yesterday?
I think it has more impressions and views than whatever we did on YouTube
I think
today.
I beat Taylor Swift on her Spotify album. I think I've got more views or listens or whatever it is.
289 million.
Yep.
We're
I think
gonna
I
use
just went
those
over the top.
towards our analytics for our social.
It was
no,
so
but
good,
he's the only one that viewed it.
Did you see the box?
Saw the box. Did you put it up yet? You got to put it up. You gotta share it.
Carlos said he was going to post it. I'll see if he has or not, and I'll retweet
Share
it. I'll
it.
post it myself.
It's a great video.
It's unbelievable. It's a glass box filled with cocktails, and it's filled with smoke.
The presentation.
And you open the box, and the smoke billows out.
Just comes out.
Have a little sip of the cocktail.
You had a fog machine under you, too, so when it
Strobe
got to you,
lights.
you just like were barely coming through. You couldn't breathe.
It's little after noon. Can I tell you what the menu was?
Yeah.
You got a few minutes?
Yeah.
You ready to listen to
Oh,
this?
yeah.
So it was me, Jason.
So explain to those who have never been to Gaucho
So Gaucho
Grill
Grill has a handful of locations around town. We went to the one in Bueno Park. As a Gaucho, I felt very at home. And they cook it like on authentic Gaucho grills. It's an Argentine steakhouse. It's delicious. So Kirk Cartosian, who is our host, says, all right, let me order some stuff for the table. And they start with empanadas. And when I say empanadas, I don't mean they brought like one for you, one for me, one for Taylor. They brought all of the
39.
empanadas that they make at the restaurant. Not all, but 4 different types. We had the beef, which was terrific.
Okay.
We had short rib, which was terrific. We had spinach and cheese, which was terrific. And we had al pastor, which was terrific. Those are just the empanadas that we had, Slee.
Now, I'm going to, because I know you pretty well, I'm sure you took a knife and said, guys, look, I can't eat a whole empanada on my own.
They're pretty big.
And you cut it into 4 pieces.
2.
Actually, I was kidding about you actually doing that, but I'm glad you did that.
Well, they were for
and
the
it's
table.
Good to do it, but it's good to do it, too, because then the heat kind of gets out. You don't burn the living hell out of your mouth. This is not a Hot Pocket.
They were terrific. So you'd cut them in, and we each would have a half of each of those different type of empanadas. They brought out this wonderfully freshly baked bread that comes with 2 different types of chimichurri. The more traditional variety, and then they had the one that had the habanero kind of infused into it. Wonderful.
Are you under control during these situations, or do you find yourselves at times like, hey, I gotta slow down?
So Kirk was like, no, you eat more. Like he was kind of egging me on, which didn't really have to twist my arm too hard. Then we had.
You don't like the food?
We had 3 different types of steak. We had a sirloin. We had 2 different types of skirt steak. We had a sea bass in white wine and chimichurri, with a gaucho rice, which is jasmine rice with carrots, chimichurri. Yeah, that. That right there. And then we finished the night. We had a chopped salad with blue cheese and bacon. Delicious. And then at the to wrap it all up was a chocolate bread pudding with homemade vanilla ice cream.
Do you have this written down, Trevor? Is this off the top of your
head?
head?
Do I look like I have anything written down?
Off the top of your head, that's the most impressive part.
It says Laker notes, 22% 3-point shooting, and then there's 3 pages on Gaucho Grill.
I don't have one single thing written down in front of me. This is how important. I went home. I said, Susan, sit down here. Come over here. Let me show you these pictures. Went through the whole thing. Showed her the menu. I have the menu memorized. It was terrific.
That's impressive.
You should come with me next time.
It's top notch. Hey, you
Smoked
tell me when you're ready.
tequila mandala old fashioned in a glass
Get
box.
that video up. I want them to see that.
It was a good day.
I really think it was.
It was a good day. And we continued in this morning. Had a little breakfast burritos in the house. That was a good way to do it. The only thing that was kind
Taylor
of missing.
and I shared top ramen last night.
It's not bad.
What are you talking about? I got a breakfast burrito.
Here,
yeah, you did get a burrito. Did you? You had the last one, I think, didn't you?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, it was. They were pretty good. Mine had bacon, salsa, potatoes, cheese,
That's a good
scrambled
burrito.
eggs. It's pretty good.
It's a good burrito.
Wasn't a bad way to do it. Everything from the end of the show yesterday until the beginning of the show today. And by the way, I'm enjoying our show a great deal today. The only little lull was like from 7 to about 9:45 when the Lakers took 30 more threes and missed. What did they miss? Basically all of them. They made 26% of them. And it just, Russell Westbrook didn't play, has a hamstring injury. He missed that game. We'll see what they do with him on Friday night. 8 of 30.
Yeah.
And it was just a really stark reminder, another one, that this team's in a really tricky spot. Because as good as LeBron can be at times, he had 8 turnovers. Anthony Davis showed some flashes of Anthony Davis, but a lot of wincing and holding his back and looking like the Tin Man left out in the rain. And they just can't shoot. They play hard. They play defense. They compete. But the talent level is just simply not there. It's really hard to watch.
Yeah, hanging with – I mentioned this. Let me give you a good example. Denver today, what the Lakers saw yesterday from Denver, 3 months from now, go look at the Denver Nuggets. They're not going to look like the same team that they looked like yesterday. Denver's only going to get better as Jamal Murray gets more acclimated. Guy was gone for a year.
He looked a little rusty.
It's going to take a second. Michael Porter in and out of the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
If he eventually comes back, he's healthy. The Clippers-Lakers played a few nights ago. When the Lakers play the Clippers on Thursday night, do you think in 3 months that Clippers team's going to be better, worse, or the same?
Probably better.
They should be. I'm imagining better, just as
Should
the
be.
season progresses. Question is with the Lakers is, are they going to get better? Is time going to be on their side? In one way, I want to say, well, yeah, because they got a brand new head coach. It's going to take a second. In one way, I want to say they got some new players, so it's going to take a second to acclimate. But the part that I have some hesitation with, I don't think in a month, all of a sudden, Patrick Beverley is a sniper from the three-point line. Kendrick Nunn's a sniper from the three-point line. Austin Reeves, Russell Westbrook. Go down the list. I don't think that part's going to change. What you've had so far, last season, last 2 years, if you want to say, well, LeBron and Anthony Davis, they were healthy, or AD was out of the lineup AD's been there for all 4 games. LeBron's been there for all 4 games. You lost 3 of those games, and you could kind of say, okay, the Clipper game, you could call it that they were in it. You weren't in it against the Warriors. There was no point yesterday maybe you thought at halftime, hey, they're in it. Before the third quarter starts,
Down
6 minutes
50.
into it, you're down whatever you are. That's the part with the Lakers that I think is most discouraging. I don't know what's going to change. I don't know what's going to change.
That's the part that's most discouraging.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, not that they're bad. That happens.
I don't know if it's how it's
It
going to
feels
look
like they're going to
different in
stay
a month.
bad. Right.
That's kind of the point.
That's the point. And here, this is Vince Carter on ESPN earlier talking about AD, how this is more on him than LeBron James. I want to get your thoughts on this because this just does not add up for me anymore.
Okay.
It's not much that you could do. And I'm going to say this, and it goes, I think it falls in AD's lap more so than LeBron. I just looked at the stat sheet, and he had 1 free throw attempt. 1 free throw attempt. So that just tells me everything is jump shot. Everything's not aggressive. Everything, your shots are not to the basket. And the reason I say that is if you can get your team in the penalty outside of not being able to shoot the ball, at least you can draw fouls and score with the clock stopped, giving yourself a chance to score other than settling for a jump shot or hoping that you can make a jump shot or whatever the case may be. So I think AD, they need something from AD more so than just 22 points.
All right, so that's Vince Carter. Look, I get it. What he's saying is accurate, that you look at Anthony Davis took 2 shots in the fourth quarter. Anthony Davis had 1 free throw attempt in the whole game.
Do you know when that free throw was?
First play of the game.
First possession of the game.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I was telling Michael, I'm like, Michael, if there's a time that AD is going to go after Jokic, maybe get Jokic in foul trouble.
Right.
Jokic has to play defense against Anthony Davis. First possession, AD gets to the free throw line and 1. I'm like, all right, there's already 1 foul for Jokic.
That was it.
Jokic had 1 more foul the rest of the game.
Yeah.
1 more foul. That's the only free throw AD took.
And AD never went to the line. Right, so he took 2 shots in the fourth quarter. He took 1 shot in the fourth quarter against Portland. This, whether it's Vince Carter, whether Charles Barkley said it on TNT a couple of nights ago, well, LeBron needs to go to AD and say, dude, you need to do this. Guys, how many times are we going to say that Anthony Davis needs to do this before we realize it's not going to be in there? Whether he doesn't have enough dog, he's not aggressive, he doesn't want to go in the paint, he doesn't want to take over, however you want to characterize it. It's not going to, it'll happen sporadically just because he's talented enough, but he's telling you the type of player he is right now. He took 1 shot in the fourth quarter against Portland. He took 2 last night before. He's not getting to the foul line. His free throw attempts are nowhere to be found. He's not going to do that, which, to go back to your original point out, is if this is what you get with Anthony Davis, which is inconsistent performance and long stretches of time where he's a non-factor, LeBron James is in year 20. There were moments last night where LeBron was great. There were moments last night where he was not. And I think that's just going to be what you get from him.
8 turnovers
right.
from Bron.
And he was good until he wasn't. The rest of the supporting cast is kind of busted. They can't make shots. They compete. They play defense, but you got to make shots, or you got to take better shots, or you got to get closer shots. They're not doing that. There is no help on the horizon. This isn't a perfect example, but the Rams are playing really poorly through their first 6 games of the season, but you can at least tell yourself, hey, once the offensive line gets healthy, once Van Jefferson comes back, once this happens or that happens, then let's see what it looks like. There are no if-then scenarios with this other than a trade, which makes you think, okay, maybe they go from the 10th best team in the conference to the 7th? You really want to spend a bunch of, money, metaphorical draft picks, capital, maybe a better way of putting it, to go from 10 to 7? Or do you just kind of ride this out? Like, what's the goal for the rest of the way? Because you're getting to that point in the schedule. Their first 15 games, they could easily be 5-10, 6-9, something like that. And now you're thinking, okay, what do we do from here? That's a really tricky question. And the person that has to answer that is the same guy that put this team together in the first place in Rob Pelinka.
Okay. I got some ideas. Let's do it when we come back. Laker fans, if you're out there and you want to call in, 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-ESPN. We do that coming back.
We'll do that. Plus, we're going to do our NFL picks against the spread. And don't forget that coming up on Sunday, we'll be out at SoFi Stadium for the game. And then immediately afterwards, it's the Rams postgame show at Hollywood Park Casino. broadcasting live from inside the Rays Lounge. Thanks to our partner, Teza. Come by and check us out and check out Teza and pick up some free samples, or visit TezaEnergy.com and make your mouth happy. Use code ESPNLA25 for 25% off your first order. That's coming up next. Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. So excited to get to talk about my friend, my pal, the guy that I know, the guy that I call, Slee, Sweet James. Sweet James has been my first call. My kids have gotten in accidents. My friends have called me and say, hey, Trav, my son has had an accident. Can you put me in touch with Sweet James? Absolutely. They called me a couple of days later. That was unbelievable. Thank you so much. Sweet James helped me immeasurably. If you're
Travis and Sliwa on the home of the Rams, 710 ESPN.
All right, Slee, it is week 8 of our NFL picks against the spread with confidence points. Here where we are through the first 7 weeks of the season. I have a lead, not a huge lead. I have 47 points. Emily is in second with 41. You are in third, 36, and Taylor is bringing up the rear at 31 points. Here we go. We're going to start where we always start. We're going to start with the Rams. The Rams are 1.5-point underdogs at home against the San Francisco 49ers. I am going first here in this one. I really loathe picking against the Rams. I don't want to do it. I believe in the football gods. I don't think you pick against your team. I think that's a bad way to do it.
Why?
But I also have seen what the 49ers have done to the Rams over the last several seasons. So I'm going to take the Rams, but I am going to put them all the way at the bottom at number 1, Sliwa.
All right, I'm going to go with the Niners because the Niners just win in the regular season against the Rams.
Seems like a good reason.
By the way, and if Rams won this game, they're also desperate for a W, coming off the bye. If there's a game that they can get, probably this one. I'm going to go Niners. I'm going to put this one, not that much confidence. I'll go 2 with the Niners.
San Francisco 2 for Slee. Taylor, Niners and Rams.
The Rams are going to come out on top on this one. I'm going to put them in my number 2.
L.A. at number 2. Emily, there's no game theory at play here. We've got the field has been split. Who do you got?
What you're saying, it's like when people tell you who they are, listen. So that's kind of what the Rams and 49ers are. So I have the 49ers at my 2.
At your 2. All right, so that's not going to swing it too much one way or the other. Slee, you're batting lead
I don't
off
like
here.
any of these picks.
The Raiders are on the road.
Yeah.
Beware of the home underdog. The Raiders are 1.5-point favorites at New Orleans. Saints getting 1.5.
I don't like this, and it's not going to help me with USC and UCLA as well because those are really tough picks. I'll go Raiders in this 1-1.
Raiders at 1. Taylor.
Raiders at my 4.
Oh, why? We're going all the way. You just feeling you got a little
it
Derek
feels
Carr
right,
love?
you know?
It feels right. Sometimes
I've been going with my
there's
gut
a feeling.
this whole time.
You
and
do know the Raiders have won 2 games and that they're laying points on the road. Just
Sticking
asking,
with it.
just making sure.
Taylor, don't ever let him question your expertise.
47 in first place, Travis. Yeah, I had that right. Emily, you're up next.
Okay, so I have my wonderful STIG gods that help me with this one a little bit. So Derek Carr has not lost to 2 teams in the NFL. One of them happens to be the Saints. So Derek Carr has always beaten the Saints. So I'm using that as my only thing to say here that the Raiders are my 3.
Raiders at the 3. Give me the game theory. Give me New Orleans at number 2. Not because I think they're going to win or cover, but because it's a chance to pick up some points. Taylor goes first here. College game. USC.
These are not easy.
On the road
Oh.
in Tucson at Arizona. 15.5 points. So SC needs to win by 2 touchdowns plus 1.5, Taylor.
I think they can do that. I think they blow them out, doing USC at 3.
All right, SC at 3. Emily.
Okay, so come back after a loss that they hate. They need to prove something to the CFP committee. They had a bye. If there's any time that you're going to come out and you're going to smash somebody, it's today or this weekend. It's going to be USC my 4.
USC at 4. It's my turn. I'm going to make it 3 out of 3. I'm going SC at 3. Al. For all the reasons she said, I agree with everything that came out of her mouth. Road.
She's not wrong.
No, they have to. If they're going to get back into this, they got to absolutely smash some people.
Yeah, she's not
49-0.
Yeah. Arizona 3.
I knew it. I would.
love it.
You know what? The only reason I didn't write it in your grid is because I didn't know if you're going to go 3 or 4.
She's not wrong.
No. All right,
But
last
I'll just
one.
do that.
Emily, you are going first here. It is the other college game. This one is a home favorite, a heavy home favorite. 16.5 UCLA and Stanford.
All right, so I took a brief look at Stanford, how they did this year in their schedule. They can put up some numbers. They can put up They can put up 20s.
They can't put up fans.
They cannot put up fans, but it's fine. No one in California can. So I'm going to have Stanford at my 1.
Stanford at 1. My turn to go here. I'm going to kind of I'm going to get a win-win situation for myself.
Okay.
I'm going to put UCLA all the way at the top at 4 because that's all I have left. I don't think that they're going to cover because this is where UCLA usually face plants. But if they win or cover, I get what I need. And if they don't, I can tease my buddies who are UCLA fans. So win-win for me. What do you got, Slee?
I only got 1 left, and it's the 4 as well. I might as well just go the opposite. We'll go Stanford.
Stanford, go Cardinal. Ramona will be thrilled that you took Stanford. You can
should solidify 4th place
Taylor,
by the time this week.
Bruins or Stanford?
I don't think the Bruins can win by that much, so I'm going to pick Stanford at my 1.
I am alone with my UCLA pick. Not only am I alone, I'm alone at the top. That is doesn't fill me with a great deal of confidence. Hey. I do not like that too much. All right, Slee. So we were talking about Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
We were talking about the options that you think that the Lakers have. The
I
goals.
want that music in the grocery store. Just when I'm walking up and down Sprouts, I want that music.
Getting your oil changed, you just sitting there waiting for it to your car, feeling like catching passes. Why not? What are their options? What are their goals? They're 0-4. They're one of 3 winless teams in the league so far. It's early. It's only 4 games.
Yeah.
But they're one of only 4 or 3 winless teams in the league. There is not help on the horizon, at least as far as new personnel without a trade. They should get a little bit better with their shooting, but not a bunch. It's not like Patrick Beverley is going to turn into Klay Thompson. What do you do? How do you play out the next 78 games?
I think you got some big dates that are going to come up, and this is what I mean by big dates. If by the time you get to Thanksgiving, remember Woj had that tweet a couple days ago. I don't know if it's a tweet or he was on NBA Today, basically saying like, look, most teams are not going to make trades until after Thanksgiving.
Right.
After Thanksgiving, teams are going to have an idea, including the Lakers.
Yeah, are we good or not?
Yeah, what are we doing here? Let's pick a direction. Either compete or, you know what, sell this entire thing off. Well, if you get to December 1st, you've already played 20 games. There's a whole new crop of players that can be traded after December 15th. Anybody who signed in the offseason, you cannot be traded until December 15th.
Right.
So now you have a whole new pool of players that could be available. Now you have a whole new pool of players that the Lakers could potentially go after.
Yep.
Here's the problem. Where are you in the standings? Because if you're 20 games in, let's say you're 25 games in, and you're already 10 games below 500. Okay? 10 games below 500. Just whatever, using that as an example. Well, you got to be thinking to yourself.
By the way, that's 5 and 15. That's
if you're 25 games in.
Oh, 25 games
so
in?
You're 7 and no, that's not good. Okay. Maybe that's too aggressive of the other way.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is if you feel we are already this far behind the rest of the pack, what will a trade do for us that's going to get us back in the mix? And Rob Pelinka has said it himself. You said this, you've said it before, but I know you said it earlier today. If you're not competing, if the trade doesn't make you actually competitive to go and, potentially be a part of the mix here.
Be in it.
Pelinka has said that. Pelinka said that during media day, that's how critical those two picks are. If you trade away the 2026 or 2027 and 2029 and you come back and you're a seventh place team in the Western Conference and you don't feel like you can compete with these other teams, that's it. You don't have another move. The more I kind of think about the position that the Lakers are in, if you're X amount of games into the season, Trav, there might come a point where teams are ready to trade and you have decided, no, I don't think we're going to do it anymore.
Right.
I think we're better off letting Russ's contract expire. We keep our 2027. We keep our 2029. We got a 2023 coming, even though it's a pick swap with the Pelicans. You're going to get a pick. It's just not going to be the better of the two picks. They might be in a position that by the time teams are ready to start making deals, that they decide, guys, we're going to have to punt this year and start looking at next season.
I think that's it, because the first part of what you said is where are you?
You'll have $30 million in cap space.
Yeah.
You'll have all your picks.
Yeah.
That at least
that seems far more appealing to me.
That at least gives you a and I guess this is going to be the question. Is a guy like Bron, is the front office, I don't know what they promised to Bron when he signs his extension. No, we're going to compete every year.
Yep.
But I think you give yourself a much better shot next year than you do.
But so I'm glad you put it that way, because we're going to compete every year. Okay, but I need to know what the definition of that is. Does that mean we're competing to be in the playoffs, which by definition means that you're competing to be the 10th best team? Because if you make the play-in, you're kind of sort of in the playoff hunt. Like that's technically we're competing, but not really, not by the Laker standards. You said two things, and I think they're both important, but I think one's much more important than the other. The part that's less important to me is where are they in the standings in 10 games? It's not, or 20, or whatever the number is, right? It's not unimportant, but to me, it's the second thing you think about. The first thing you think about is, what's our ceiling? Even if we pull the trigger on a trade and we get two good role players, okay, not good role players.
Miles Turner and Buddy Hield are two good role players.
Perfect example. What are we with those guys? What is the best version of our team with those two players? Are we the 7th best team in the West? Are we maybe the 6th best team? Do we really want to go from 10 to 6 and spend all of this draft capital, kind of hamstring ourselves as far as the contract flexibilities at the end of the year, that cap space that you're talking about?
Yeah, that'll be gone because some of these guys leak into.
Right. Is that worth going from 10th to 6th or 10th to 7th? That's the question. It's not do you do it or not. It's what do you get if everything works out perfectly? You make the trade, you send the picks out, you send Russell Westbrook out, you get two good role players. What is this team? It's not better than the Warriors. It's not better than the Clippers. It's not better than Memphis. It's not better than Denver. It's not better than Phoenix. It's maybe not better than Dallas. So you're looking at 7, 8, 9, 10 still. So why do it?
So I'll tell you what they are. If they made that trade today, hypothetically they made that trade, I think they actually can compete. But what is your definition of compete? Because if you're
that's what I just said. That compete, like, are the games closer? Do you win 1 out of 3 instead of 1 out of 4 or 5?
I think they could compete, period, in the regular season. But you go up against one of those. I'm not convinced that they're going to beat any of the teams that you just mentioned. Could I be wrong? I can. You could be wrong as well. We could. They could potentially over time put themselves in a position where they can, but that's tough to kind of let that comprehend and think that that's what they would be.
What do you think, Laker fans? Do you take the chance? Do you try to move up incrementally? Do you just cross your fingers and hope it works out, or is it time to really ask yourself the hard questions like, look, what's coming a year from now, 2 years from now might be more important than moving up 1 or 2 spots from the bottom to less near the bottom along the way. 877-710-ESPN. Plus, if you call in right now and you're caller number 10, 877-710-ESPN, you will be the winner of the LAFC Western Conference Fan Final Box. What does that include? Let me tell you. An exclusive Rep in the City scarf, an LAFC hat, an LAFC mini soccer ball, an LAFC playoff shirt, and wristbands, stickers, lanyard, notebook, pen, and lapel pin. All of that if you are caller number 10. 877-710-ESPN. Are you dealing with a dead battery? If you are, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. They offer free battery services like free battery testing and free battery charging. Their free battery testing can help you know if you need a new battery or not, or if you are in need of a fresh charge. And if you happen to need a replacement battery, they can help with that as well. They've got reliable replacement batteries starting at just $79.99, and they're the only place you can find proven tough Duralast batteries. So the next time you're having battery trouble, head to AutoZone, your battery solution and America's #1 battery destination.
LA's morning show is key.
Hey, Rams fans, Travis Rogers here. You have got to get the new ESPNLA app. In fact, let's go down to the locker room and get a little help.
What's up, Rams fans? This is Matthew Stafford. React to the Rams on the new ESPNLA app.
This is Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. Listen to all your Rams talk on the ESPNLA app.
You are just one tap away from Rams All Access. Travis and Slee, Mason and Ireland, and Sedano and Cap. Download it now on the App Store or Google Play.
Hours of LA sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
Like I've said many, many times before, Slee, I'm a smart man.
Yeah.
I like that you
Say it a
immediately
lot.
avert eye contact and look away like, it's not true at all. I've never heard anything less true than what you just said.
Well, for the picks right now, you're a smart man.
Yeah. I think, I'm going to be mean to all four of us.
Okay.
I think all four of us are bad at it.
I disagree. I think I'm.
I think all four.
You've had a couple weeks where you've gotten all of them right.
Just
haven't you?
one. I mean, I am coming off of a 4-for-4 week, but that was more, blind squirrel kind of moment than anything else.
I'm going to go back on again and see if I could listen to that
Hold on.
Raider game.
You want me to tell you what you picked again?
I don't want them.
You picked Stanford, Arizona, Niners, Raiders, in that order.
Not a good week.
Let me ask you this. So Pac-12 had their basketball media day the other day, and George Kalikoff, who is the commissioner of the Pac-12, was.
I think State scrimmaged UCLA at some point.
Did they?
Yeah.
So obviously the question is, SC and UCLA are leaving for the Big Ten in a couple of years, and the UC Board of Regents is trying to prevent that from happening because UCLA is a state-funded institution. They feel like they have the right to kind of veto this whole thing, and they're attempting to do it, and they're negotiating. The numbers are the Pac-12. These are round numbers. The SC and UCLA each get about $20 million a year from the Pac-12 for their media rights deal. Okay, if they go to the Big Ten, they get 80 each. Okay, so it's a $60 million difference that you could fund a lot of athletic programs with that $60 million, so I understand what they're doing. The question is, does anybody really care? Because you do, and we do the same thing. People know what we do for a living. People like to talk to us about sports. They ask us our opinions on things. We give them, and we ask them their. Not one person has ever come to me. I can't believe that SC. I know the arguments. Well, what about the parents? And what about? I get it that if you are your son's going to be on the golf team at USC, and now he's playing in Ohio State, you might not get to see him as much. I get it, and I'm not insensitive to that or insensitive to that. But we're talking about a few hundred parents. If you're an SC fan, do you care if they play Oregon State instead of Indiana? Because you're still going to play UCLA. You're still going to play Stanford and Cal. You'll find a way to make those games happen. Do you care if their middle of the season kind of throwaway conference game is against Purdue instead of Washington State? I don't get the sense anybody really cares.
I don't know. Well, let's put it this way. Nobody's stopping you, or no one's stopping us and saying, hey, I really want to ask you this question about this upcoming UCLA situation. I have not got one of those, okay? I will say that for LA, if you're just talking LA, just talking for Los Angeles, there's so much more upside for them joining that conference and getting out of the Pac-12. That's just the reality of it. You know what's going to happen on a weekend? One weekend you're going to have Ohio State at the Coliseum, and then the next weekend you're going to have Penn State at the Rose Bowl.
Right.
That sounds like it's the Rose Bowl. Like it literally sounds. No. You get those, and you're going to have some clunkers. You're going to have some games that aren't
clunkers in the Pac-12.
You have it in every conference.
Right.
You have it in the SEC. Like it happens. That's the way it usually works. So to answer your question, I could, for anybody that says this is going against tradition, it's this that. I think those days are over.
I think you
got
against tradition, but I don't know what tradition we're trying to save. Right? The tradition of SC and UCLA. Yes, you want to protect that. That's protected. They're still going to play each other.
What about UCLA, Arizona State?
Exactly. Like, hey, man. Hey, I remember when I was a freshman.
Who is that?
And this is my Tempe guy.
Okay.
I remember when I was a freshman.
That was new.
And we had a big game against Colorado. Colorado came in. They were 2-7. Nobody thought we were going to be able to beat that 2-7 team.
We rushed the court.
And we did. We got it done. Guys, you're going to play Michigan. You're going to play Wisconsin in football. That's fun. Yeah, I mean that's you're going to play Michigan State in basketball. That's fun. Playing against Oregon State and Utah, it's not the.
You know what they should do? I don't know if this would help, but for the Chargers, instead of having all the games at SoFi, they should just sprinkle them around. Do one at SoFi, one at the Coliseum, one at the Rose Bowl. They can just kind of rotate. The Chargers can rotate. Take your time. Yeah, take your time. I know there's a lot. There's a lot going on over there.
I'm fine now. I just had
because you thought you were fine, and then it fought back.
I tried
and
to
then you
muscle
thought you were
through
fine
it.
again, and it fought back.
I did. It gave me 2 counter punches. Usually, sometimes you get one.
Got a jab.
It
came with an
hit me
uppercut.
twice. Yeah, I get it. I'd like to watch my kid play too. But if that's the objection, buy a warm coat because you're going to go spend some time in the Midwest in the winter. That's the way that it's going to go. Daniel in Northridge. Daniel, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's going on, Daniel?
Hi. Good, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I think we're not even close to those other teams, so I'm not making a trade to throw away my draft picks. But and I'm also sending Westbrook away, and he's not coming back. But the thing you got to really think of is AD right now is at his highest peak, you would think. He scored about 25, 26 points, and he hasn't broken down yet, which we know is going to happen. So you really need to look long and hard about trading him, or hopefully someone falls in love with him to get multiple draft picks, get some young role players in there, and get your cap space better. Because right now, you're deficient. You're not going to want to extend AD in a few years. So you really need to get better players for LeBron. This season, guys, it's just about LeBron breaking the Kareem record. That's basically what this season's about.
So, Daniel, let's use that as an example. Let's just say that. Let's say the season ends, and the only thing that we really look at this year is Bron past Kareem. There's other stuff that going on, but that's
the highlight.
They're not, in playoff contention, or even if they are, they're fine for the 10th spot or whatever the case is. This kind of makes me want to go back to what we were just talking about a little bit earlier, that if they find a stage in the season, which I think most likely is going to happen, where they start deciding it's actually smarter for us to just keep the picks and let Russ's contract play out, then I think Anthony Davis becomes a lot more interesting, not to trade, but to get better talent next year with that cap space that you have.
Explain
Guy that
I
would
don't
fit.
follow that last part.
So he's saying trade Anthony Davis.
Right.
What I'm saying is, if you're going to have all that cap space next year because you did not trade Russ,
right?
Contract just
you
expired.
have money to spend.
You got money to spend, and you have picks.
Okay.
Having Anthony Davis on your team is right now. If you're asking Anthony Davis to be the best player, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
Like I'm
Would
sorry.
have happened by now.
It's not going to happen. And if it happens, then you and I would be both surprised that AD is having the type of year. I think what you have from AD, that's why I'm less disappointed about Anthony Davis, because I've lowered my expectations for Anthony Davis. So it doesn't hit me the way it used to hit me a year or 2 years ago. But Anthony Davis with LeBron and then whoever that other player is, or role players, or whatever the case is, I'm much more apt to seeing Anthony Davis on a Laker team that actually has a good team put together than I am with Anthony Davis, LeBron, and then it's just those role players.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Is there anybody in this league that's dying to play with a 21st year LeBron James and an Anthony Davis that gets worse year to year?
But this is a conversation we were just having. Didn't we just say that was better for next year?
Yeah, but
than,
not to
than
build around
this?
Anthony Davis, but to think about what comes next. I know they've got him for 3 more years, something like that.
I think 2 more years after this.
2 more, yeah. Okay, so 2 more years after this year. But I look, we'll build around Anthony Davis thing, dude. Like you just said, no, we're not. And this idea that
he is one of your pieces, but you got to have a lot more pieces.
I get it, but he can't. He's not going to be the guy that. Hey, I want to go play with AD. Not anymore. A couple years ago, sure.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron, as great as he's been, I don't know if people are racing to come play with LeBron in years 21, 22, 23. That just doesn't seem likely at all. So you're going to have to find somebody that comes for reasons other than that. That can be a part of it, but that can't be your opening pitch. Come play for a bad team with aging guys? I mean, thank you.
It's kind of funny. It's not even a pitch. We were listening to DeMar DeRozan say this maybe a month and a half ago. Oh, he thought he was going to be a Laker. He thought he was going to be playing with...
That was a year and change ago, though. Now you're talking about playing out this whole season. That would have been 2 years ago by that point.
Been 2 off seasons.
Yeah.
That would have been 2 off
That's
seasons.
a long time ago. And you've got LeBron is already in year 20. You're talking about adding more time. AD every night looks less likely to turn back into that guy. I'm not depressing. I'm just saying I'm trying to find a way out. I'm trying to find a way to, because there is no quick fix. There is no, if you do this, everything opens up and it feels a lot better. Really hard decisions need to be made starting kind of now, at least in the next month or so.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that made the decision, the person put this team together. That's the scariest part of all. Rob Pelinka put this team together. The one thing you have to get LeBron James is shooters. And this is
Fellas,
what we
hit
have.
some shots, please.
This is what we have.
Get to 30%.
I mean,
31%.
Wow. You fix that?
32%.
Just extended that guy?
Francis in Glendale says, need more of the Tempe guy.
He's busy. He's getting high again. He'll be back. He'll be back. He likes to party. He likes to hang out. He only drops in occasionally. He'll start a fight, and then he'll leave again. That's what he does. The Dump coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Sweet James, 800-500-5200. Al, say it with me. 800-500-5200. The accident attorneys at Sweet James, they're waiting for your call if you've been hurt, because they want to make sure that you get what you're entitled to. They want to make sure that you get a life-changing settlement if possible, that you get the medical care that you need to get through what is a very super difficult time. Don't mess around. That call you make, that lawyer that you call, it's going to make a difference in the settlement that you get. That's why you got to call Sweet James. 800-500-5200. 800-500-5200 or sweetjames.com. Let their success, they're driven by passion to help their clients. Their tracker, they've settled hundreds of millions of dollars of claims. Let them do it for you. sweetjames.com. 800-500-5200. Make the same call that I've made multiple times. Call Sweet James.
Feel the energy of Lakers basketball this season.
Tough night in Denver to start the 2-game road trip this week.
Lake Show tries to shake it off in Minnesota and get their first win of the season.
Lakers, Timberwolves.
Coverage begins at 3:30 p.m. with the Toyota Lakers Countdown.
First World Series since 1918. The curse of the Bambino was finally broken when they beat the Cardinals. I believe that was the same year they came back from a 3-0 deficit against the Yankees when Dave Roberts stole that base. Yeah, an amazing.
Couldn't run a Golden Corral.
He could steal a base. He could definitely do that along the way.
That was one of my favorite of the 30 for 30s that came out.
That was a great one.
That was one of my favorite.
That was a really, really good one. You notice something we've talked about a lot today? Anniversary of the Angels winning in 2002.
Yep.
Anniversary of the Dodgers winning in 2020. Anniversary of the Red Sox winning their first since 1918 in 2004.
Yep.
The World
Schedule's
Series
perfect.
hasn't even started yet.
It's going perfect.
The World Series hasn't even started.
You know what's so
yet.
cool about this year's Thanksgiving? It's Game 4 of the World Series, and I'm looking forward to that.
It hasn't
the World Cup too
started yet.
That's right, the World Cup as well.
These games, half of these games
will be rained out.
Are going to be played in Philadelphia in November outside. It seems like a bad idea.
That's why San Diego should have just got the.
Even look, it was freezing out here last night. It was like 55 degrees. I don't want to be out in that.
You had the jacket on. Oh, how you feeling now?
Better. I
because you did tell me, can you turn down the air?
I did. Well, I think my smoked tequila old fashioned kind of gives a nice little reset. Emily, do me a favor. Look up the weather in Philadelphia just tonight for a point of reference. It hasn't started yet. And by the way, if you think I'm just keep saying that because I don't want to talk about the fact that the Astros are 4 wins away from winning the World Series, you would be right.
Yeah, it's true.
Low to about 45. Average is about 66 right now.
Not terrible.
No, not terrible.
Not terrible. You
it was
can do that.
pouring in one of those Padre Philly games, and they just kept playing.
They
just play through it.
Look, this is how you know it's weird. It poured in San Diego when the Dodgers were playing. That's how you know. Okay, well, this is over. It's raining in San Diego. We did one of those duck boat things in San Diego when I was down there with my mother-in-law. By the way, kind of fun. I thought I would hate it.
Is this in Coronado?
No, this was in
Mission.
What's the place right down by the bay there?
Seaport
Village. Yeah, Seaport Village. It was super fun. The average, you get like 11 days of rain a year in San Diego. Glad it rained when the Dodgers were up to bat. That was super great. Really, really enjoyed that. LeBron James captioned an Instagram photo today after last night's loss. They are 0-4, and it said, "How long will you be taken for granted?" It's odd.
This is Braun that posted that on Instagram?
Yes, Emily?
Yes, yeah. Check your phone. I texted it to you, too.
Yeah. LeBron James.
Don't yell at me.
What did you say? You know you're going to be asking for an Abercrombie.
Jesus.
Don't ask about Abercrombie, and don't question her LeBron James Instagram.
What world is
Try to
this?
set you up for success.
What do you make? That's an interesting caption.
Passive aggressive.
This is
How long will you be taken for granted?
Classic LeBron.
Please.
Come on.
We'll get out of the way, bro. We'll get out of the way. This is your world.
No, I'm genuinely like, when you see that, what's your reaction to? Because I think what you're about to say, I'm in total agreement with. I am a LeBron James fan, have been since he came into the league, but it's this kind of stuff that I can do without.
Be a leader, man. Take control of your locker room. You're the 20-year veteran. Like, just act like it. Act your age. You're not the 18-year-old kid anymore.
Don't go to Instagram.
It's this idea of, look, I get he's got to be incredibly frustrated.
Yeah.
He's got to be incredibly disappointed that they're off to such a bad start. But to
He's got guys around him shooting 20%.
I'm not saying it's entirely his fault.
Oh, no. And Braun had 8 turnovers yesterday. And Braun
7 for 17. He had a great night.
He is also responsible for where the Lakers sit because it's LeBron James.
Who's he passive-aggressively saying is taking him for granted? Is it the Lakers? Is it Laker fans? Is it NBA fans? Like, who is this directed
good question.
towards?
It's a good question. And
I don't know.
Without having any context to it,
there isn't any. It just says that.
Which I'm saying is that you could take that as, is he taking a shot at Laker fans? Is he taking a shot at his own teammates? I have no idea.
But that's why it's not great, right?
No, it's not
because
good.
it's purposely ambiguous, because it's purposely plausibly deniable.
If anything, it feels like the media's been sticking up for him today. I mean, Vince Carter.
I don't think anybody has really taken a run at him in any meaningful. He's not playing great, but no one's saying that.
AD
you know what
is
the
the
problem
one
with this
taking the
team
blame. Russ is taking
LeBron.
the blame.
AD, LeBron, the fact that these guys can't shoot. That's a very odd caption from somebody who has written a few of them in their day.
Just check my text messages next time.
You got to do that,
send
Slee.
important stuff
She
during the
sent
show.
some good
What do you
ones.
think he's talking about?
It's a good question, buddy. That one throws me off. It really does. That's why I was like, wait a minute. What are you talking about? He posted that?
Check your phone.
It's probably totally unrelated to anything Lakers, It's just,
right.
It's just got something to do with
It's
family
just
stuff at home.
ambiguous enough that you just kind of say, "Oh no, that doesn't mean what you think it means."
Well, you know what's going to happen is we'll talk about it. Mason and Ireland will talk about it. Sedano and Cap will talk about it. First Take will talk about it. Everybody will talk about it.
Well, that's what he wants.
What do you think it means?
Right? I mean, that's exactly the reaction I think that he's looking for is people will try to decipher it. People will try to unpack it and figure out what it means.
Could it be... But he has got no reason to do it on here. Hey, go make a freaking trade. We need some players.
Oh, absolutely, it could be that.
But he can go do that by walking into El Segundo at the Lakers training facility and having that conversation with upper management.
That's why this is weird, because you're right. That you could just, hey, Rob, got a minute? can we talk about what we're doing next? It's fine. Yeah, sure. Come in, have a seat. Let's talk about it. Right? Not super hard. But this is no, it wasn't about the front office. No, it's not about the fans. No, it's not about my teammates. It's about the guy that didn't wash my windows right on my car, and he's taken me for granted because it's like it could be anything. When you don't say what it is, it could be anything.
It could just be I'm in my 20th freaking year in the NBA, and I'm still doing. No player who's came into the league and been around for 20 years will accomplish what he's doing at year 20. Maybe it's as simple as that.
Let's put that aside. This is exciting. Amplifica, I think if I got that right, Amplifica Holding Group, a San Diego biotech startup, is working to help balding people regrow their hair. They have just under $12 million in VC financing. And based on technology, licensed out of the UC Irvine campus, its own research, Amplifica focuses on molecule combinations that aim to jumpstart dormant hair cells in the scalp. That, according to their chief executive, Frank Fazio. Where do you and I sign up?
Mason, can you take your hat off for a quick second?
Mason's got a full head of hair.
I know he does.
Yeah.
That's all I'm looking for. Am I asking for too much?
Yeah. No, that's asking for a lot.
That's it?
That's
all you're looking for?
Am I asking for too much? Just kind of put your hand.
Here's what it is.
All the way through.
Mason, you don't get to participate in this because you have hair.
Got it.
You should be hoping to get to my level.
No,
and I'm
just going to keep it that.
And I'm trying to avoid getting to yours.
Listen,
that's a good way to describe it.
No, you guys, if my option is yours, I'm out.
I understand.
I'm
but
out.
I don't want to be the Slee, and I think that if all of a sudden you could grow what I've got going, which isn't great, don't misunderstand me, but
you got something going on up there.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Is it possible to invest with this company? I mean, how can I buy some stock?
If somebody could actually cure baldness, can you imagine how much money they would make?
Oh, it's alchemy, right? I mean, it's a license to print money. Ramona, you should answer this one for me.
Momo's here, too.
Hey, what up?
Momo, I picked Stanford.
Let's do this. Let's start Super Crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begin.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
All right, so I'm losing my hair. I'm fighting the good fight at this point, and if the good people,
you're right, you own it.
Here's my fear. Tell me if I, as a colleague of mine, I need you to tell me a hard truth.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm okay with losing my hair.
Yes.
But I don't want to be the guy that appears to be trying to conceal the fact that he's losing his hair. I'd rather have hair than not. But I don't want to do the comb over.
You're not doing the swirl.
The swirl.
No, you're fine.
The swirl is like the worst thing.
Because you're combing it back, and you have enough in the back there. It's like the backyard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, it is.
There's got some grass back there. And
I've got a nice backyard, but my front yard, the tree is dying. I've got like one tree, and it doesn't have any fruit anymore.
Yeah.
It's just kind of wasting away.
I have a friend. I won't mention his name, but he's balding, but he's got sort of an island of hair.
It's Manu Ginobili. It's Ginobili back in the day.
And you have to swim to the other edge of,
like
of the hair. Exactly, it is. It's like a little island made up to get to. Yeah. I won't say his name.
Isthmus of hair.
Yes.
I like that.
I'm Arizona. We just went rocks. We're like, let's not put any.
Yeah, you got the gravel front yard.
I mean,
he has a good bald head.
I can't imagine. I don't remember you with hair.
Yeah.
He looks 20 years older with hair. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
So random when you say that. It's so
I wasn't
funny
the
when you
only
say
one. That when somebody put it up on Twitter.
I would rather have my hair than look 20 years older.
Look 60 with hair.
Thing. No one's tuning in for your hair. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, we're on YouTube today. What are you talking about?
That's
right. I repeat, no one's tuning in for your hair.
100 of people are listening.
How much?
It's not really like
it's true.
a thing. It doesn't matter. It's okay. You're a radio host. Like, that's the point.
Obviously, different strokes for different folks.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are TV careers.
As the only woman in here.
Yeah.
Emily, you weigh on this too. So 2 women in here. How important is a man's hair to you when you're just evaluating their overall level of attractiveness?
After you're married or before you're married? I mean,
Before,
it's important. It is. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important.
It's fair. Emily?
Like the truth is, I met Nevin when I
Does
was
Nevin
really young.
have his hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
And thank God. Okay. But I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie. When I met his dad and his dad had hair still, I was like, good.
Oh, that was a plus.
I was like, that's
so this
that's
was
a
already
plus.
part of the calculus.
Oh yeah, we sized you up all the way. Like we're like, yeah. Does the dad have hair? And then you get into.
But
the,
isn't it
it's your mother's father. Mother's father.
Mother's father, not
Yeah,
your dad.
no, your
No, it ain't.
mother's
It's your
father.
mother's
No,
father.
it's not.
It's
My
not?
grandpa had a full set of hair, and
It's true, and my grandpa.
And then
Skips a
there's
generation in the
skips a
Sliwas.
generation, and, you know.
My grandpa had Travis hair, and I've got my mom's dad had
yeah. I've always been
thinning.
told I have the hairline of my mother's father.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I have. Emily, what about you? How important is it?
So for me, it has to be either or. It has to either be head of hair or bald. It cannot be like the in-between gray area. And at my age, I haven't had as much of the balding ones, but if they can rock it, if they can like really own up to it and like have style other ways, I don't think it's immediately a turnoff for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like if
It's
you
not a turnoff, but you gotta commit one way or the other.
Yeah, you gotta
I
own
agree
it.
with
Own
you.
it.
But
If you-
Momo, the wigs in House of the Dragon, man, do they work for you? They look great. The long
Yeah.
hair, the silver hair, it looks
Yeah.
great.
Get a dragon wig, Slee. No,
Exactly.
never mind the
So
people
on
at
it.
UC Irvine. Get a dragon wig.
Now, are you guys dressing up for Halloween?
It's Monday, right?
Yeah, it's Monday.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, right?
Are
Monday.
you? I didn't even
It's-
know that.
I
that was
don't know.
on the option
Bergman
tree.
is dressing up, and
As
Jorge
what,
is
Berg?
dressing up.
okay, if I'm in. If you guys are in, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I can't tell. I can't tell if Mason.
Oh,
is-
I'm so in, Slee. I'm so in. Do it. Do it.
Mason's definitely not dressing.
Do
up.
it.
He's
Are
definitely
you
not
working
dressing up.
Monday, Ramona?
I'm not here,
Not
but
here?
across the street I am. I don't know.
Are you doing like NBA today?
Do
or
people
something?
dress up for
They do for
Halloween?
Around the Horn, but not for NBA Today.
Yeah.
Well, be the trendsetter. Be the first.
No,
Be-
good.
She's the only
Be
one.
the Lewis and Clark of
I'm
Halloween
already like the
costumes.
most underdressed, unstylish person on the show compared to the other people on this show, right? Like I'm next to Malika Andrews and Chanae, and they're like dressed to the nines with like
Right.
jewelry and accessorized, and I'm like, hi,
How
I
you
wore
doing?
this last week too.
Yeah, but you know stuff. That's the important part.
Yeah,
I know
that seems
stuff.
to be
I got a
Okay,
quick
I know,
story.
I know my role.
Yeah.
I know my role.
I have since I started covering the Lakers. Luke Walton,
I just hear the word Lakers and I go, ugh.
Wince.
But go ahead.
Luke Walton,
Yes.
Frank Vogel, Darvin Ham.
Yep.
The latest one was Darvin's first pregame that Lakers and the Clippers, the presser. There's a theme here that happens when Ramona is in the room.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
It's pretty funny, and it doesn't happen to anybody else. I literally don't see it happen to anybody else. Darvin Ham, for the first time,
Yep.
taking a question from Ramona.
You're gonna make me embarrassed.
Hey, Ramona, how you doing? This is in the middle of a presser.
See?
Okay? All right, this is the same thing with Luke. This is the same thing with
Almost
Frank
big time.
Vogel. Every time she sits down and it's her question, right? Everybody asks her question. They go. It gets to Ramona. They stop. They stop what they're doing. They say, hi, Ramona. How are you doing?
So
Ramona's
does Darvin ever say, hey, Slee,
I'm
good
waiting.
to see you?
No.
No.
I'm waiting for them to just have a regular, how's your day going? Like, I'm waiting for her to have those conversations.
Did you ever get that sandwich you
middle of
ordered? Did you get iced tea with that, or what, did you like?
Well, okay.
she's
There's
got
an
juice,
alternate
Al.
theory.
Oh,
Okay, there's
she's,
two things going on here.
she's
Two things.
the best.
One is that I'm not there every time, so he sees you every day. And he's like, whatever, it's just Sliwa.
No, if I
see
came
him
every
every
once
day,
in a while,
right?
that
Yeah.
would probably be the
You
same.
know, like the beat guys are there every day.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
they get used. It's like, do you tell your wife you love her every day? You should, but probably don't.
Might have missed a day or two
Right?
in the last
Do you
25 years.
Do you really not?
I don't think I've said it every day. No, I say it frequently, but not every day.
What about
Freaking
you and
a-hole.
Nev?
I try to, yeah.
Yeah, I think I say it every day.
But I don't see him every day. We're
Love
kinda
you,
like,
Lon. There, I'm done for the day.
Get up, brush your teeth,
But
take a
like-
leak, say I love you.
Love you. See ya.
I mean, there's like there's a quality of like, you know, you guys again, and like, you know, when I show up, it's a little bit of more of an event, right? It's like, hey, I haven't seen you in a week or two, you know. Like,
She is
pop in, pop
she's
out.
underplaying it. They
Is she?
yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah,
They just light up when Momo's in the room.
And by the way,
Mona's
you
in
we
the
all do.
with all three of the coaches, not just Darvin.
No, it was literally whether it was Frank Vogel, whether it was Luke Walton, or it's
Would you go 30 for 30 if you went around the league? Would you get
Yes.
30 Hey Ramonas?
Probably.
Wow.
Maybe not all.
Say it out
maybe not all
loud.
30.
Yeah,
That's
own
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would because it's like, hey, you don't see me very often, but I know all of them. I'm trying to think if there's any coaches that I don't know personally. Of the
Maybe some of the younger ones. No, she knows them.
I don't think I know Will Hardy personally, the guy in Utah. I think we've like maybe I've been in San Antonio when he was there, but he was an assistant then. I'm trying to think who else.
So he wouldn't light up when he's. They all know you from the TV.
Yeah, they know you from TV.
The TV
though.
is
not
important
Stepdad
part
Leo
of
and my mom watch NBA Today every single day.
Do they really?
And not Stepdad Leo's like, Ramona was really good today.
Does he ever say Ramona?
Yeah, I was going to say that implies there are days where he doesn't
really
say it.
does, but he's like, I think you're like the biggest star he knows.
Oh yeah, okay. So there is a part of me that I have a very like don't get too high, don't get too low thing about the TV stuff.
Yep.
Because I'll never forget this. Frank McCourt. Do you remember Frank McCourt?
Sure,
The
I can
parking lot
forget.
guy?
Do we remember Frank McCourt?
I still give him $40 every time I pull into the
exactly.
God, he still owns that parking.
Frank McCourt would tell these stories like when he would walk around Dodger Stadium. He's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. The fans love me. Every time I see people in person, they're like, hey, Frank, how's it going? You know, like, there's a quality of, like, when you're on TV, people think, like, they're just nice to you to your face. Doesn't mean they actually like you.
I don't think people look at you like
I was
going to
say Frank McCourt.
Frank
and
McCourt
you,
was not a good
You
example.
and Frank McCourt are not.
Not-
That's not
not at the same
that's
party.
Not a comp.
People are
Not
probably
in the
throwing
same
peanuts
party.
at
I'm trying to be
Frank
humble,
McCourt.
okay?
I understand.
No, you know what it is? I try to develop personal relationships with everyone.
Well, that's exactly
you could
what
tell.
it is.
You could tell you
That's
know.
exactly
That
what it
counts.
is.
Yeah.
Speaking of personal relationships and occupations, Al told a story earlier today about one of the first jobs he applied for to be was it a busboy?
I think it was a busboy.
A busboy at Golden Corral.
Yeah.
Okay?
Golden Corral.
He was going to be we were 15, 16?
16 years
16
old.
years old. And manager at Golden Corral, El Cajon,
Had a good interview. My first interview was good.
calls
Went
him
solid.
back and says, Alan, good news. We'd like to offer you the job at Golden Corral. 16-year-old Alan Sue goes, let me get back to you on that.
Oh, really?
Well, I had something working with Kennedy Recreation Center.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I wanted to be at the rec center.
Yes.
Golden Corral called me out of the blue.
Right. And there was a bidding war.
Offered me the job. So then I had to go back to Kennedy and say, guys, I don't know what you guys are doing over there, but Golden Corral's interested. And then by the time I called Golden Corral and said, guys, I am interested, they were no longer interested.
Oh, wow.
Because
Yeah,
they didn't
moved
feel
on.
like I really wanted it.
Busboy wasn't a priority to you, so why would they hire
Well,
you?
they told him they didn't feel like he was committed enough to the position.
You know what?
It's a hard lesson.
So I moved here twice. I moved here. I don't talk about this a lot. I moved here in 1987 to work in TV production and film production, and worked on a couple shows and all that stuff. And then a writer's strike hit. So I'm like, well, okay. I'd already done morning drive in Toledo. I'm like, okay, I got to get another job. So I go to Coco's, and I applied for a waiter's job at Coco's.
Yeah.
Did not get the waiter's job at Coco's, and I am like, I've got to go back to Ohio. I can't get arrested out here. Coco's won't hire me.
Mace, I'm
Yeah.
going to make you feel better.
Okay.
That's awesome.
When I moved back to L.A., after college, after I got a master's degree from Stanford, okay?
Yep.
I said, you know what? I just need I had a little gig, but it wasn't paying me very much. I need to pick up a little work on the side. I went to Coffee Bean.
Coffee Bean. Were you a
Coffee
barista?
Bean. No, they turned me down.
Oh, no.
They literally said, what kind of food service experience do you have? And I
To
said,
make coffee?
right. And I said,
I don't know, a degree from Stanford?
I don't.
Does that help?
But, I mean, I volunteered one night for, like, McDonald's night where I ran the cashier. Like,
Well, you know, we're doing that.
McDonald's
So
night?
a while back, to like 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine said, you've never had an honest day's work. I'm like, no, I can do an honest day's work. I totally can. And I sent Bergman down to Starbucks, and Bergman says, me and Ireland are going to barista together at some future date.
Down here?
Down here, right
Oh,
downstairs.
that's
That's awesome.
Gonna need to know.
People are going to give us the most complicated drink
That
order.
is
and you
awesome.
need to do it in the
Yeah.
morning when people are in a hurry. Because if you do it at like 3, you're going to get some
I'm
traffic.
not even sure I'm qualified for Walmart greeter. I mean, let
you,
alone
no, you could be a
barista.
Walmart. You could be a Walmart greeter. But like, I actually was
I
excited
want extra
about
pumps
working
in
at the
there.
Coffee
I
Bean, and I
wouldn't
couldn't
even know what
do
that
it.
means.
And they wouldn't take me.
But Ramona, you just
ended up
said
giving
you have a
softball
master's degree from Stanford. I have a feeling you could figure out Coffee Bean.
I know, but they didn't give me a chance.
And what'd you end up doing?
Ramona,
I
it's all
gave
right.
some softball lessons on the side.
Softball lessons.
All right.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
You're
it
very
was-
qualified for that.
I was very but it was harder because I had to like drive to the kids.
You got
and I
a
had to,
bucket
like,
of balls in your trunk of your car. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, but it was
there.
all, you know, it was like I'd drive out there. I realized it wasn't very cost effective. I charged $25 an hour. And I would drive out there. That would take me like 30 minutes. I would give the lesson for an hour and take another 30 minutes back. So it was like, I made $25 for like 3 hours of my day. And I was like, that's just not going to work.
What's the hardest job, like physically the most demanding job you've ever
Physically
had? Yes.
or just most difficult?
Both.
Okay. So most difficult was telephone solicitor.
Oh, that's hard, yeah.
It was awful.
yeah.
I still remember the
Cold
you had a
calls.
script.
What were you selling?
Hi, Mr. Johnson. It's Steve from the Key Corporation. I'm wondering what type of material you have on the outside of the home there.
Oh, no.
And you got to say it all
we
before
were
they
selling
try to
siding.
Yeah, and you have to say all of it before they hang up on you.
Correct. And then I got.
You don't say how are you?
Right.
Because if you say how are you, they say I'm
Is it
hanging
the
up
assumed
on you.
I'm supposed to know you and I'm waiting to try to figure out who you are? Is that the play?
I don't know. I hooked some of them.
How
remember
much
that.
siding
Mostly
did
the
you
old
sell?
people, right?
I sold a fair amount of siding in my day.
Damn right you did. Damn right you
I sold
did.
a fair amount of siding.
Damn right you did.
I killed that job, but it was terrible. It was terrible.
He broke
Yeah,
records month after month
Talk
over
about
there.
failure rate. It was like 1 in 50.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get somebody to have
Oh,
a
I would have guessed
conversation?
much worse. Than It's 1 in 50. You must have been pretty good. I would have guessed 1 in 500.
Physically was landscaping.
Yeah, that's brutal.
My brother and I landscaped a couple of stores and dug and planted and all that. That was
My best
physically
friend
demanding.
from high school had a mother who owned a Montessori school.
Okay.
And so they wanted to redo the playground of and it was the like the sandbox area, and it's roughly the size of this studio. Okay, give or take. And they wanted us to dig it down to about a foot and fill it with sand.
Yeah.
You think, okay, you have no idea. It was truckload after truckload after truckload of dirt and rock shoveling. We should have rented one of those little Bobcat things and done it in a couple hours.
Or get Taylor to run the forklift.
So get Taylor to run the forklift.
By the way, Taylor is just...
He hates LeBron's guts.
No, but he's just all of a sudden...
It's great.
On the show a lot.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Crack open that mic. He's
Wonderful.
funny.
All right, very quickly.
We should start a construction company, a 710 construction company.
Yeah, exactly.
So LeBron had a picture of him dunking the ball.
Oh, yeah.
And it said, this was the caption underneath the picture from LeBron James' Instagram account. How long will you be taken for granted?
There's so much to this tweet. It's so
Oh,
much.
God.
First of
Help
all,
us out.
Who's the you in this?
That's the first thing I asked
Okay.
Al.
That
Who's he
we-
talking to?
Right? And because you know why? If you do it that way, then you can say, well, I wasn't talking about myself.
It's exactly what because
who do you think he's talking about?
Of course he's talking about himself. Come
There's
on now.
there's three people, right? He's talking about the Lakers, he's talking about the fans, or he's talking about something else.
Yeah.
Those are the three U's in this potentially.
Let me translate this. I am feeling unappreciated.
Yeah.
By whom?
By everyone.
By the world.
By
I
the
mean,
universe?
By everybody from Stephen A. to Steve Mason.
LeBron has not been the brunt of the criticism
No,
of
he's
this team.
definitely not.
It's been Russ. It's been the shooters. It's been AD.
Today, it was a little more noise around Anthony Davis.
LeBron has not gotten much heat.
No,
for the
and
over-
he
deserves not very well
none.
either.
Yeah, no,
What's that?
he's been mediocre.
been okay.
He's been mediocre.
He's been pretty.
leading the league in turnovers right
Look,
now.
no,
is
last
this
night's
unfair
terrible.
to say? He's the best player on an 0-4 team. Is that what he is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's true.
Yeah, I think that's
I
what
don't
it
see
is.
anybody better.
No, who's the you? Is it the team?
No.
Is it his teammates?
No, it's
is
gotta
it the
be
front
him.
office?
It's got to be him.
No, he's talking about himself.
He's talking about himself.
He just does it in a way where he has deniability.
Who's underappreciating him? Who's the person doing the underappreciating?
No, it's not underappreciated. It's taken for granted.
Taken
that
for
was
granted.
His words. His
Who-
words are taken for granted. He's basically saying, "You're wasting me, man. You're wasting this."
Oh, you think it's directed not at fans, but at
the team, the
Yeah.
organization?
Yeah, we're wasting my last good years. I mean, there's so much to it, isn't it?
He couldn't have thought that this was going to result in a bunch of wins, not with this group.
I don't know.
Probably not 0-4
I
and 22% from the
I
three-point
thought
line.
healthy AD, healthy LeBron, we got a shot. But
Somebody's
They
gotta
should
make
have
a
won
shot.
that Portland game.
That
They
is
should have
true.
won
the
the
Portland game,
They should have
yeah.
been
Look-
at least 1-3. You could argue they could have won the Clippers game too.
They're not going to go 0-82. I feel confident
Nope.
in saying that.
Schedule
But
loosens up a little bit.
what was their Vegas over? It was 44.5, I want to say.
All right.
That feels like a million miles
Yeah,
away.
it does. That seems really like a long. If you've got the under,
Can you hold
you're
on to
in-
the ticket?
You're in good shape. Save that ticket.
We'll let you guys unpack the Instagram mystery. It's coming up next. It's Mason in Ireland. Remote is in for Ireland. We'll see you tomorrow.